Welcome to North America Show. Host Rob Noerr. Oh boy, what a day we have had here in the Noerr household. We had some washing machine issues, and so we had to run out. One thing about living where I live is a lot of stores that maybe other people would just take for granted, like Home Depot or something like that. I have to drive like 50 minutes to an hour to get to. So I had a lot of that stuff going on, but you know what? Who gives a shit? I got to go with my family. My son's hilarious. He got this, those like lightsabers. They've had them since I was a kid. That are just the extendable, like you flick it and it shoots out. So we got my son one of those the other day, and then he also has. It's a handle with a trigger, and at the top of the handle is like a little dinosaur, and its mouth's open when you pull the trigger. Chomps. My son started playing this game. My wife is not pleased with this. I thought it was the greatest thing in the world. My son started playing this game. He calls it whack or chomp, where he either whacks you with the sword or he chomps you with the dinosaur. I thought it was very funny. He's like, all right, whack or chomp. Like, how menacing. I was like, oh, that's a hell of a it's funny stuff. He's he's a character. He makes me laugh so much. He's so funny. Sometimes he's intentionally funny, and other times he's unintentionally funny. Like, what did he say in the car today? I can't remember the exact framing, but he did something. He's like, I don't care. I'll just blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, look at this. Mr. Big Man over here. Oh, the big man. And he goes, Dad, can I tell you something? I'm like, what? He goes, thank you for calling me the big man. I was like, oh, that's unironically the funniest thing to say. Okay, someone insults you. All right, big man. Thank you so much for calling me a big man. I was like, oh, okay. You win this round. Oh, he makes me laugh. It's so good. Well, great for you. He's very funny. Oh, someone rated already? I mean, if you guys start the N-word tower, you're just gonna be banned immediately. So, last warning. I don't give a shit. Who is this that's rating? This happened last time as well. Rhetorically defective. Thank you, rhetorically defective. So, mods, anyone participating in the N-word tower, just ban, no question. Fuck them. They're not coming back. I don't know what to tell you. People are trying to get my channel banned, so. Haha, you guys nailed it. Funny. I know. Listen, if it was Rumble exclusive, N-word tower away, I would not care. But I got to keep my channel intact here, you know? I got to keep my phony baloney job. Oh, I know you guys aren't trying to get my channel banned, of course. But I have assholes that watch my channel constantly, and they report every episode. I recently had an episode reported for using a shorter version of the term transsexual. Apparently, that's a no-no. So, yeah. Anywho, yeah, no whip towers either. You know, I gotta admit, like, listen, simultaneously, my family's the best, and it's the best time of my life ever. It really is. Every day I wake up, I can't believe my luck, how great my life is. But the news cycle's kind of sucked. It's sort of boring. You know? The Tyler Robinson shit, I mean, what more is there to say? It's just more of the same shit. You try to give everyone an even shake. You're like, all right, let's see what's presented. And then one side just says everything that's presented is a conspiracy. And when you're like, all right, cool, what's your theory? They say that you're getting paid by Israel and you're a piece of shit. And away we go over and over again. Um, I don't know what more there is to add to it, but we will, because that's the big news story of the day. Of course, Graham Platner dropped out. Um, and then the other news story that's sort of worth talking about is Iran. But isn't that just the same fucking story over and over again? Oh, it looks like a ceasefire. Never mind. And I think we will talk a little about the Odyssey today. We'll talk about that. And I don't think that's an important story, the Odyssey movie, but the problem is when you're doing one or two shows a day talking about current day politics and stories, when the news cycle basically doesn't change for 3-4 days, it starts to get boring. You know? So we'll talk about some stuff. Of course, I got a chance. I did the extravaganza today with my good friend Ryan Mullally. Hey, he's cool. That was fun. I feel like he's trying to take my spot in the extravaganza, so I beefed up on my attorney lingo. Objection! Overruled! I have to consult with counsel. Shit like that. That's all being a lawyer really is. Just knowing jargon and charging your clients $500 an hour. I feel I'm there. I could do that. Like I could just let's say Bertie the dog hires me for $500 an hour. I'd just be like, I have to run this through my co-counsel, but we'll sustain some objections and send you some fees and some post-trial dismissals. And he'd be like, okay, that'll be $500. Nailed it. No, I haven't tried pickles on pizza. So, anyways, that's what to look forward to. Let's read some super chats. Then we're going to start with some comedy or not comedy. Kill all bunnies. Holy cow. $5 says, hey, Rob, sorry about the black wife thing last time. I haven't caught you live since, so didn't know it was a serious stream when I said that. Doesn't bother me. I thought you thought I was Andrew because everyone always accuses Andrew of having a black wife. Maybe he did. I don't know. I don't give a shit. No. I've only ever been married once. I'm still married to my lovely white wife who was born in Germany on a U.S. military base, but still. Sears Sight, $5 says, good evening, Rob. Good evening to you. And Singles Dad's Club, $20 is checking in, Rob. Love you, brother. Love you. Pix Paradox, $10 says, first time with the Rumble Rees this week. Holy cow. Yeah, it was a funny extravaganza because normally we use all kinds of slurs over there because it's Rumble only. But Ryan was streaming to YouTube as well, so we had to mind our business. Germans, they always make good stuff. Is that, oh my goodness. Could it be? Is that Vince Offer? The ShamWow man himself? Yeah, if I ever get killed by some crazy lefty, I'm sure they'll say my wife was an Israeli plant from Germany or some shit. If so, I don't care. I'm very happy. So, even if Mossad planted they were like, yes, this 25-year-old drunken slob making $12 an hour. Maybe someday he'll have a moderate-sized YouTube channel. Let's plant a Mossad wife with him. Yeah, it's worked out for me. I'm happy. Just don't assassinate me. That would be great. Thank you, Mossad. I appreciate my wife. Yeah. Kosh Patel got one too. Yeah, you guys are missing out. Get yourselves a Mossad wife. It's great. It's really good. Mm-hmm. Excellent stuff. You guys should try. One sec here. I may have an important message. Ooh, important people texting me. Who could it be? Sorry about that, Netanyahu. Giving away the Mossad wife stuff. Travis Rice, what's up, my man? $10 says, hey man, I've been a supporter for years, but after watching last night's show, I can't stay here. This whole time you've been a Miracle Whip supporter. I'm sick to my stomach. I read Miracle Whip really weird there because I thought that was a whip joke. Yeah, the horrible truth came out last night. I do like Miracle Whip. Fuck you. Fuck you all. I'm tired of hiding in the shadows. That's right. I like mayonnaise and Miracle Whip. What's that make me? Intercontinental? I like them both. If I have some sort of lunch meat, a cold cut, I like Miracle Whip. Anything that's like hot, like a burger or a hot sandwich, I prefer Miracle Whip, or I prefer mayonnaise. So I just lost half my fucking audience. Isn't it a shame? Damn. All the hot takes I have politically, and the thing that's going to cost me is a stupid dinosaur battle and game and my Miracle Whip affiliate. Yeah, Intercontinental Champion. There's a lot of cool people here today. First off, if you have never checked out my friend Rhetorically Defective's channel, excellent channel. He puts up excellent compilation, small, short form videos. I enjoy watching them all the time, particularly when I'm driving. I'm always looking for stuff to listen to. And I think Rhetorically Defective has excellent stuff out there. So let me link his channel, and you should give it a follow. I'm not sure. Apparently, he's doing live streams as well. That I did not know. But I always enjoy watching. So check that out. And then, in addition to that, another person I like listening to in the car, my good friend Cool Vic, who, poor Cool Vic, he's Cool Vic's like the dirty jobs of internet streaming. Like he watches so many of these dumb shits and covers so much of the stupid drama with them. It's entertaining as shit, but I couldn't do it. I could not sift through the bullshit that he has to watch. It's truly yeoman's work that he's out there slugging through it. So please, I linked both Cool Vic's channel and Rhetorically Defectives. Please check them both out. I do not think you'll be disappointed. I think they're both amazing. And like I said, I enjoy listening to both of them. Incidentally, I have like a 7-hour car drive to make Friday. And so both Cool Vic and Rhetorically Defective, if you could quickly get up like 5-6 hours of content a piece for me to watch on the drive, that would be great. So if you guys could get on that, I would very much appreciate that. Give me something to do. Otherwise, I'll be listening to chess streams. Single Dads Club, $20 says, some people on Andrew's Twitter about Charlie Kirk case, leaning left to right, they're both insane. There's a problem here. Yeah, we'll talk a little about that here. We will. Thank you, Single Dads Club. And Pix Paradox, $10 says, Miracle Whip, hashtag Miracle Whip's now a thing. Hashtag Dinogate, hashtag never forget. What about sour cream, says Dan Vicious. I despise sour cream. Sour cream's the type of thing that if it's in something, like if you have a dip or something that sour cream's part of it, it could be okay. But just on its own, I despise sour cream. I think it's terrible. In my opinion. In my opinion. That's what I think. Yeah, sour cream sucks. Also, you know what else sucks while I'm on it? Pico de Gallo. That sucks. Raw tomatoes suck. Tomato sauce is all right, but just tomatoes suck. So there. Yeah, you see? I love cottage cheese. Though I went to a restaurant a month ago and I ordered a side of cottage cheese and it was not good. It looked like it was post-dated. There you go. Cool Fix, 7-hour live stream Friday. I won't be able to call in or type in, but I'll be listening on sour cream. Yeah, that's right. Fuck sour cream. Fuck pico. Fuck anything with the name tomato in it. It all sucks, you know? That's my feeling on the matter. Next thing you know, I'll have the Pico de Gallo people suing me. That's right. I'll divide the audience. All right, let's start with this. It's a little different. What's your favorite sitcom of all time? Any Now I like the sitcom format. I used to love it in the night. I'm 42, so I was born in 1984. When I was growing up, there was a lot of good sitcoms to choose from. But my absolute favorite was Seinfeld. That was my absolute favorite sitcom. It's truly amazing. I was also a Curb Your Enthusiasm fan. I think Larry David is hilarious. I think Seinfeld's hilarious, both the person and the show. Married with Children comes very close to Seinfeld for me. I love the original, like Married with Children. It's great. Thank you, Harry. Appreciate it. Um, so it's a weird thing seeing the direction the entertainment industry's gone. It used to be just with like music and television and movies, particularly with movies. I think movies and music, and then TV as well. Now you're seeing it seep into the video games with like woke bullshit coming out. But where do you draw the line between what you're watching entertainment wise, knowing that many of the people would hate you? Now, there's a separate question from this. Forget about their ideology or their politics. What if it's just a shitty person? Like, am I allowed to like the Cosby Show anymore? Or I can't think that it's funny because Bill Cosby allegedly did some gross shit. Or how about R. Kelly? Remixed to Ignitions, not good now all of a sudden because R. Kelly's a shitty person. I'm sorry, it's still a great song. My son likes the Space Jam movie, and once in a while I'll catch him singing I Believe I Could Fly, and I'm like, ugh, eh. Now he doesn't know R. Kelly, he just knows Bugs Bunny and Michael Jordan, which are great. Michael Jordan's great, Bugs Bunny great, R. Kelly not so great. Yeah, see, someone knows. Who was that? Pandemic gets it. It's the remix to Ignition, hot and fresh out the kitchen. Something rolling. It's a good song. I don't give a shit. But if I could be like, okay, I could like the Cosby Show, or I could still like Naked Gun, even though OJ's in it. Can I like Seinfeld? Because it was written by Larry David, who's a left-wing shitbird? I don't know. So for me, it's always been a pick and choose. I guess I kind of forgive some shit if it's very good. Right? So even if the people in Seinfeld hate me for being a right winger, I'm like, it's a really funny show. Now, I would have said, I think Larry David's had a few misses here and there, but overall, I think Curb Your Enthusiasm's hilarious. I think the seasons he wrote on Seinfeld were hilarious. You know, George Costanza, the character, is my favorite character in Seinfeld, is basically just Larry David. Hilarious. But much like Bill Burr, I wonder if wokeness has just captured Larry David too much at this point. Because I don't even really know it, like, what's going on. But Larry David has a new show or movie or something, and this is all I've seen of it. And based on this, I don't anticipate looking for any more. Now, I want to be clear. Look, is it possible to make fun of Republicans, to make fun of me, to make fun of Trump and it be funny? Of course, especially me. There's a lot of material to work on here. Got it. And the same with Trump. The problem with the Trump humor, at first, I have to admit, I thought it was kind of funny. But after like year 12 now we're on or whatever, at some point you're like, it's just easy. It's low-hanging fruit. It's bullshit. You know, everybody makes the same bullshit jokes. So, you know, there's this movie Young Washington coming out. And then I saw that like Larry David was involved in some comedy that was like I don't know if it's a sketch show or if it's, but I knew part of it and I was intrigued. I was like, I'd probably watch this because it was like the clips I just saw the pictures of was like Revolution, like George Washington era. And I was like, I'll give that a chance. I could see like Seinfeld type humor with like the founding fathers, right? I think there's something there. I think that could be funny. And I like Larry David. So I'm just going to play some of this. And I have to say, I'm not saying, because this is humor at the expense of Trump, it's not funny. I'm saying I don't even see where the attempted humor is. I'm not saying these are jokes that I was offended by or jokes that didn't land. I guess that is what I'm saying. They're jokes. I don't even see, like, I've seen bad comedy where you're like, okay, I can see where they're attempting to make a joke. This is so bad, it's hardly that. So, all right, I'm gonna bring this up if you guys haven't seen it. So here we go.
In order to ensure the success of our fledgling democracy, I believe that no man should serve more than 2 terms as president. And I hope that future presidents will follow my lead.
What if some future president doesn't follow your lead and runs for a 3rd term?
Yeah. There are remedies for that. The Congress.
First up, like, you'll see they're clearly like, but what about Trump is what they're saying. I mean, do they remember FDR, who ran for the only president that served more than 2 terms? Yeah, that's like the Democrats' poster child. So, I mean, they can't even get their, like, attempts at humor correct. But here we go.
Can pass a constitutional amendment that would prohibit that.
Well, what if there's some asshole in office, some narcissistic prick, who doesn't follow the Constitution?
Yeah. But rest assured, even if this future president violated the Constitution, then the Congress of the United States and the United States Supreme Court would not allow it.
But what if the Supreme Court is a bunch of yes men and Congress is a bunch of pussies who care more about party than country? Huh?
It's like, get it? He's like he talks like me where he's kind of yelling and he's pointing things out that Democrats currently say. Where am I missing the joke? What is the joke here? They might as well just be like, hey, Trump's a prick. Oh yeah. That's it? We keep going.
I can't even fathom the existence of such men. But to further ensure the success of this grand experiment, I would suggest that after every presidential election, there be a peaceful transfer of power. Yes. Where the loser accepts the results of the election and full-throatedly endorses the victor.
Anyone who would accept the results of a free and fair election is a sociopath.
Hillary Clinton, who still says the election was stolen from her? Again, these people, it's so funny. As long as Hillary had said one night she conceded, and then later said, actually, I still think it was stolen, and then fed information to the FBI that they then used to get illegal FISA warrants to spy in the Trump campaign. They're like, yes, that's a peaceful transition of power. But Trump saying, I think it was stolen from me, and then doing nothing, that's not a peaceful transition of power. Anyways, there's the joke, I guess. We'll keep going.
A man like that can even foment an insurrection rather than just admit that he lost. What a cocksucker!
I mean, the left-wing insurrections we've seen dozens of since both before the 2020 election and after the 2024. No?
He could use the presidency to enrich himself and his family.
No.
He could send troops into
Biden?
American cities to terrorize and even kill American citizens.
Here he is. He just complained about not accepting results of an election. Now he's pissed off that people that are engaged in, by their own language, insurrections against the federal government that Trump's sending in National Guard.
All to distract from the fact that he's friends with a pedophile who's attacking universities, even the free press, silencing anyone who dares to criticize him.
Ah, come on. That could never happen.
That's what you think.
Are you suggesting that the president would take the time
It's Jimmy Kimmel.
to challenge anyone who dare make fun of him as if he were a big baby?
A big baby!
I don't see it.
Apparently, Rob Reiner was in the episode as well. Whoever was filming that was laughing. They thought it was funny. But the joke's just like, ha! All the stuff we see on MSNBC about Trump. Uh-huh. But we'll say it while we're wearing wigs. Again, I'm not saying, like, that you can't make jokes about Trump that aren't funny. I'm just saying, what was the joke there? For my money, one of the absolute funniest writers of all time, Larry David. So it's not like I'm just picking on some rando. I mean, I think Larry David's fucking hilarious. I still say Seinfeld's my favorite show. I'm like, I don't know. This is like they just got a pile of money, and Larry David, like a day before the shoot, was like, fuck it, let's phone it in. I don't know. I love stand-up comedy. I love comedy. I used to love SNL, Kids in the Hall, Upright Citizens Brigade, like sketch comedy. Love that shit. And, you know, to me, it's like, I'll admit, maybe it was because of institutional bias, but I think there's more to it. Why left-wingers tend to be in comedy more than right-wingers. And I think part of it's right-wingers and conservatives tend to be a little more grounded and focused on like blue-collar work and stuff. They could be funny themselves, but they're less likely to go into the entertainment business. So, but that doesn't mean that there haven't been people that are left-wingers or even rabidly left-winger that I didn't think were really funny. There were. But it just seems increasingly like it's about the message. Oh, well, everything has to filter through a political lens first. That's the important part. And then maybe you'll laugh. And it's like, I know that this isn't a breaking story. Most of you watching me know this. But to watch Larry David, of all people, it's like, I don't know, man. This sucks. So, big thumbs down to so far what I've seen of the Larry David show, whatever the hell it's called there. No, I'm not just finding this. Let me reiterate. Maybe the feed's behind a little. I know I've known this for a long time. What I'm saying is, even when you see people that you respected as could be woke shitheads, but they were still putting up funny material like Larry David, I mean, this is like the lowest ever shit I've ever seen. Like, I could do that. Like, fuck, give me $1 million and I'll make a period piece. Great Depression era. We're going to do 1920s, just making fun of trans people. Oi, governor, sorry, don't have a job for you, but what if I chop my penis off and pretend to be a woman, eh? Like, wow, I did it. It's so dumb. Yeah, that's right. On Curb Your Enthusiasm, where there's a season where Larry he wears a MAGA hat and pretends to be MAGA because he just wants to be left alone, and all the lefties in LA just ignore him when he's wearing a MAGA. That's funny. That's a funny joke, like at the expense of, it's making fun of left-wingers, but it's also making fun of Trump and MAGA. It's funny. That's funny shit. I like that. This was just, 1920s London. Okay, maybe I need to work on my period. Who cares? I'm not thinking about it. I'll wear a wig. It'll be all right. Andrew did a chair stream? The piece of shit. And then I guess that dovetails nicely into the woke odyssey. What's the name of the woman that's playing Helen of Troy? Lupina Mustafa Simba or some shit. I don't know. I'm sure you guys, Lupita Nyong'o. Henma Hoya, Lupita Nyong'o. There we go. Yeah. Maybe she's a fine actress. I don't know or give a shit anymore. I just don't give a shit. Huge Christopher Nolan fan. Love the Batman movies. One of my favorite movies that I think people don't talk about a lot is... Shit, now I can't think of the name of it. That's great. The movie that's backwards. It's great. Why can't I think of the name? It's right in the tip of my tongue. Someone knows what I'm talking about. No, not Tenet. No, that is kind of an accurate... Memento, that's it, yeah. Great movie. Memento's great. I haven't seen Tenet. Inception's good. But no, Memento. Memento's a movie that's basically filming backwards, kind of. It's hard to explain. It's a great movie. If you've never seen Memento, watch it. It's great. It's not Benjamin Button. Maybe there's more movies like this than I thought, you know. Watch Memento. It's a very good movie. I haven't seen Tenet. I'm well aware. Prestige, very good. Also liked it. No, it's not Requiem for a Dream. No, it's not The Betrayal. No, it's not The Machinist. Machinist crazy. That's a crazy movie too, though. Yeah. Prestige is very good. Good actors. I like Christian Bale. Wolverine's pretty cool. Hugh Jackman. So, if this was a one-off, and it was like, oh yeah, Helen's gonna be black, but it wasn't like the theme in everyday Hollywood now, I probably wouldn't even give a shit. And look, I'll be honest with you. I think the movie will still be pretty good. The Odyssey. I think just given Christopher Nolan's track record, I think it's likely to be a good movie. I like Matt Damon as an actor. I'm not going to watch the piece of shit, though. And it's petty and it's stupid and maybe it's a great movie and I'll be missing out. Yeah, I don't give a shit. I just don't care. And I think the costume design looks terrible. The costumes look so bad that I almost think they're going to like CG something on top of the costumes because they look so stupid and plain. It did. The costumes look like Spirit. I'll see if I can find a picture. I saw it earlier. I butchered. Like this. These are the costumes from the movie. Apparently, they have to be doing more. I mean, that's terrible. It's like shit I'd find in my closet. Here's the other one. I like that guy, the guy that plays the Punisher. There's Tom Holland. I mean, doesn't it look like they're gonna CG something on there or something? That's so bad. And this is a huge, big budget movie. I can handle some poor costumes and shit if it's like, yeah, you know, it's low budget, trying to make a good story. No problem. But yeah, John Bernthal, that's his name. Yeah. He's good. I like the Punisher. Caleb's wearing that exact outfit. What are the chances? I just don't give a fuck anymore. That there is an agenda in the West by the globalists and by the left, their little foot soldiers, to demonize the history of groups that they consider Eurocentric or white, and fuck them. I'll be selective. I'm sure you'll be able to say, but Rob, didn't you go watch this movie and it did that too? Yeah, maybe. But when I notice it and feel like it, I'm going to say, fuck you. I'm not going to watch that. That's it. And it's funny when you say that, you have all these people like, how dare you? How dare you come to that? Like, I owe these motherfuckers money? I owe them my time? I don't owe them shit, just like you all don't owe me shit. If you guys are real pissed off that I've been going hard at like some of the Tyler Robinson conspiracies, or that I like Miracle Whip, you don't owe me a damn thing. You can say, fuck you, I'm out. That's life. I hope that you don't do that, but let's be honest. You have the power. You're the consumer. You say, I don't like this. I don't want to watch it. Yeah, but you could be missing out. I don't care. That's my choice. It looks like they're checking the boxes to try to appease Hollywood so they could get an Oscar, and I don't give a shit. I think that attempted appeasement is an attempt at appeasing a group of people that fucking hate me and my ancestors. So fuck you. I don't want to watch it. That simple. So, I think what's happening is, for better or worse, and there's upside and downside, when it comes to our media and when it comes to our entertainment, it's being outsourced more to more individuals. Thanks to the internet. Thanks to platforms like Rumble, YouTube, and other social media. So you don't have to watch the studio television shows or the studio movies. You can find a streamer that you like that's funny. You don't have to watch Meet the Press. You can find a streamer that you think's bringing you the news. There are downsides to this, of course. There are also upsides. But the more that the monopoly, or the people that used to have the monopoly in the entertainment industry and the news business, the more that they continue to push a bullshit agenda where the message is more important than the actual job entailments, whether it be being a journalist if you're in the media, or it be being entertaining if you're in the entertainment industry, people are just going to fucking tune out more and more. And these studios and these mainstream media markets are going to find themselves tailoring to a shrinking audience that's more and more in a bubble. That's what's going to happen. I'm glad finally someone talking some sense. I don't know how to pronounce that name. Let's go with Kuntaimak. Kuntaimak Twat. Thank you. Finally. Now, I have been to the movies many times here recently, but it's all kids' movies. I went and saw Minions and Monsters. I went and saw Toy Story 5. Where was I before? What movie did I see before that? The one Paw Patrol movie. I actually went and saw the original Toy Story with my son at the movie theater. And Casper, the old Casper movie from the 90s. Went and saw that. How'd I like the new Toy Story? 4 or 5 out of 10. They really effeminized Buzz Lightyear, which sucked. And what's the name of the woman cowboy, Jessie? She's like the main character. I went to see, like, if I go see Shrek, whatever's coming out, Shrek 5, for me, at a bare minimum, I want the main character to be Shrek. If I go see Toy Story, I want the main characters to be Woody and Buzz. And that wasn't the case. And then I don't know, some of the message of it, of kids being too attached to technology, okay, I get it. But I actually thought the Minions and Monsters movie was better. I would give it like maybe a 7 out of 10. I think the Minions movies are like this generation's Looney Tunes. So like my son loved the Minions and Monsters movie, and the parts that he loved on it was just like the Looney Tunes-esque violence, like where they're just beating people up in funny ways. And that reminds me, like, they don't really make TV shows like Looney Tunes anymore, where it's just like, Buzz kicking the shit out of, or I'm sorry, Bugs kicking the shit out of Elmer Fudd. That so Minions is as close as you get to that, really. I don't know. I didn't notice the voice acting of like Tom Hanks or Tim Allen being off that much. The problem, he might like the Three Stooges. The problem with like the Toy Story movies is, and you see this in a lot of movies once you get to like part 4 or part 5. You have the first movie that's beloved, that's why they make a bunch of sequels, and it has a cast of characters. And then each movie will add some more characters, and some of those are going to stick around. So by the time you get to the 5th movie, like the characters that you liked in the first movie, like I like the dinosaur guy or Mr. Potato Head or the Slinky Dog, it's like there's not a lot of room for them anymore. And it's been 20 something years. So like, what was her name? The woman that was George Costanza's mom that played Mrs. Potato Head, she's passed on, I think. I think the original Mr. Potato Head passed on. Ermy that played the army man, he passed on. So, okay. You could see putting those characters off to the side because they're original voice actor. But it's like, I don't know. So, yeah, the original came out like 96 or something. Yeah. So it's like, 30 years later, a lot of those actors have moved on or aren't working. Yeah, the pig, So, but that's what it was for me. It's like, sort of like the Marvel movies now, where it's like, oh, well, it's all new characters for a new generation, or the Star Wars ones. It's like, yeah, I don't really give a shit about that. The premise has already been done. Toys that are getting left behind. Oh, great. The 5th one. And now with new characters starring. Okay. Oh, it's his brother Jim Hanks that does the voice? Okay. That's exactly where I'm at, Oz. As long as it's not super degenerate, if my kid likes it, that's good for me. My enjoyment at this point in my life, when it comes to entertainment and stuff like that, is hanging out with my son. And so if he's having a blast and he's laughing, and good enough for me. That's... If I could watch the original Toy Story movie as an adult and be like, it's a pretty good movie. I enjoyed it. I would not watch Toy Story 5 as an adult and be like, this is a good movie. I'd be like, I don't know. It's kind of crap. But my son liked it, so okay. He bought the little toy, like there's a little toilet paper dispenser that's electronic. He thought that character was funny. We found a little toy for like $4 of it, so we bought that. So, I don't know. But that's my feelings on sort of the entertainment. And it's sad, like even... I'm in a unique position. We all are, right? We all unique individuals. So I think, if I'm honest, my biggest shift in what I consume as entertainment is driven by the fact that I'm a father now. So maybe my wife and me, before we had my son, the type of movies we would watch, she was never into like super action movies or horror movies, but maybe we would watch like dramas, maybe something like Interstellar or something like that. And then me personally, I watched, when I was at work with my people that had disabilities, loved horror movies. So I was always watching horror movies with them. And I liked action movies. Now I don't really watch much of that. If I have time to sit down and watch a movie now, I usually want to do it with my wife and son. So I'm watching a lot of stuff geared towards kids. Now I'm excited because as he gets a little older, I feel there's stuff that, like, maybe I could get him into like Harry Potter movies or Jurassic Park, and then maybe like Lord of the Rings. That'd be cool, you know. And then we could go from there. Maybe then we could transition into some like PG-13 action movies, like some Arnold movies and stuff. You know, I don't know. Maybe some of those original Marvel, like Iron Man or something. I don't know. But that's the biggest change. But I also think that the wokeness played a role in it. I really do. The big change for me has been sports. Like, I used to watch pretty much every Pittsburgh sports game. I'd probably watch, to be honest, 2/3 of the hockey games, probably about 2/3 of the baseball games, and pretty much every Steelers football game. Now maybe I'll watch 3 or 4 football games a year, maybe 5 or 6 baseball games, 5 or 6 hockey games. Maybe. I think I've watched 2 Pirate games all year so far, and they're at the All-Star break. And they're actually decent this year, which is, you know. But a big part of that's just being a father, just not having time. But, you know, I don't know. Just the general vibe. It's no one's fault. It's no one individual's fault. The general vibe around sports and, like, we have to celebrate all this LGBT shit and, yeah, fuck it. It helped me realize, I guess I'll put it this way. It was just the cherry on top of realizing I don't need this shit in my life. The big reason was my son being born, and I have better things to do. But the cherry on top was like the woke shit, and I'm like, yeah, fuck it. You know, I don't need it. I'll still consume it here and there, and people will still give me shit. Oh, you talk about the Steelers, blah, blah, blah. The NFL's woke. Yeah, I know. But I don't know. I don't consume it near what I used to. Now, having said that, this Saturday I'll be at a baseball game, but that's because I'm going for my friend's bachelor party, and we're going to a Yankees game. I don't like the Yankees. I'll be rooting against them. But like the woke shit, and then in addition to the woke shit, it's just like things. I mean, every generation probably has this, where you have like some rose-colored glasses, looking back with nostalgia, like things of your youth. But I mean, like my favorite genre of movie was probably comedy. What's the best comedy that's came out in the past 10 years out of Hollywood? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I don't even I don't even know if I could name like a comedy that's came out of Hollywood in the last 10 years. When I was young, I mean, the generation before me, all those like 80s movies, hilarious. Like, oh, Eddie Murphy was on a legendary run in the 80s. Every movie he did was hilarious. You had like, you know, the John Hughes, some of his movies were funny. You had the like Harold Ramis movies like Stripes and Ghostbusters, hilarious. The 90s had some great movies. Even the 2000s, like with Old School, hilarious. Tropic Thunder was pretty funny. What is it now? Like, where's this generation's Old School? I don't know. Or Tommy Boy. I don't know. I don't even know what people say. Superbad. I mean, Superbad was funny. I liked it. What year was that? 2007? 2008? Superbad? I don't know. I missed your super chat. I'll get it. We'll read some super chats now. Mangozy and Rumble, $10 says, I'm too old and attached to that book to accept changes. The Odyssey, yeah. If it were a change in story and not in that period of Greece, it could be tolerable, like DiCaprio's Romeo and Juliet. I, too, like the prose version of the Odyssey. I'd read it as a young man and enjoyed it. So it'll be unfortunate. Dan Vicious, $1 says, got to do the original Ninja Turtle films. Yeah, he would love those. Absolutely. Zach Gelpy, $10 says, bye-bye, Platner. Hello, Troy Jackson. Now, surely the Democrats are all about democracy, right? So surely they'll allow another primary. They're not just going to have a handful select number of Democrats vote on someone, are they? They wouldn't do that again after they did it with Joe Biden. Thanks, Zach. Single Dad's Club, $10 says, I love Lucy, Seinfeld, Married with Children. Living Color count. Living Color is a sketch show, I would say. I wouldn't call that a sitcom. I would call it a sketch comedy like SNL. But Living Color was good too, yeah. Bat Fricker, $10 says, I get paid by Israel and I give that money to Rob. Well, thank you. I'll take it. Single Dad's Club, $10 says, we need to get back to slapstick comedy. I agree. And then we got The Real Black Knight, $5 says, yeah, because Democrats never put party over country. Yeah. Bandit, $2 says, who wrote this? Brian Schaap? Oh. Single Dad's Club, $20 says, there's a problem with the length of the presidency, in my opinion. There's 2 4-year terms, whether good or bad. Because of the shortened term, we can't get anything done, in my opinion. Well, like longer, particularly foreign policy stuff, it's very difficult to achieve in like a 4-year term. Because you also have midterms, so you're really looking at 2 years. So any act, like let's say that a president gets in and is like, look, we got to tighten our belt spending-wise. You know, we're going to have to cut social programs for a couple of years to get caught back up on our national debt. Their party's going to get crushed in the midterms. Whereas if the elections were longer, you'd have time to do something that could have short-term pain, but longer-term results possibly. But as it is, everyone's looking for a quick solution because of the short-term limits, both in Congress and in the presidency. And so you just get more kicking the can down the road. Candy, $20 says, I'm a horror fan at heart, but I do like comedy. It fell off hard after John Candy, Chevy Chase, Chris Farley. Miss even Jim Carrey's older stuff. Shit's gone crazy since the oldies. Yep. Caleb, $2 says, you say I owe you? Yeah, that is what I said. Thank you. Sepulva, $5 says, I claim to understand Tenet, and when asked to explain it, I just call people stupid and mock them and not answer. Smart. That's been my whole fucking channel. I just pretend like I know stuff, and when people challenge me, I'm like, works every time. Intel Wild, $10 says, I live 10 minutes from Disneyland and haven't been there in 20 plus years. I won't give them a penny, especially when I found out they wouldn't hire straight white men. Yeah, well, thank you, Intel Wild. Singles Dad Club, $10 says, what irks me is that nobody, maybe except for Angel Studios, and I'll reserve some opinions about Angel, has countered against Hollywood. Why can't people counter against Hollywood? Laziness, lack of creativity, being too doomer-pilled, wanting to focus on things that they think are more important other than entertainment and culture, which I think is a mistake. Single Dad's Club for $10 says, we need at least, as conservatives, to do better at countering economies. We suck at that. Democrats have proven to be better at that stronghold. Better at countering economies? Maybe movies? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I agree that we need to be in all of these fields more. Matt Flynn, $10 says, just despite you and all the other uncultured heathens, I'm going to make some real mayo right now. Boo! Unless you're putting it on a hamburger or something. Single Dad's Club, $10 says, we need Voltron more than ever. And then gives another 10 and says, brother, where art thou? Masterpiece to the Odyssey. Yeah. That was a good, more, I mean, it's hard to call it modern, but yeah, more modern take on the Odyssey was cool. High Plains Grifter, what's up, man? $5 says, Batman the Animated Series from the 90s should be required viewing for kids. Maybe my favorite animated series of all time. Absolutely adore Batman the Animated Series. And then Zach Kelpie, another 10, says it's coming back to us in Maine for both parties. They have a thing in Maine called a placeholder candidate. Usually happens. Down the line ticket races, not typical for statewide races, but it's a thing. Yeah. Well, that's the Democrats that yell and scream over and over and over about democracy. How many people in the Democratic primary voted for Kamala Harris? Oh, no one? Or almost no one? And yet she was the de facto pick. Now they're doing it with Graham Platner. Single Dad's Club, $10 says parallel economies is what I was talking about. So, oh, yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, it is definitely. I told the story the other day. My wife hates Miracle Whip, and we went to a restaurant in my hometown, and she ordered like a Philly cheesesteak with, or not a Philly cheesesteak, but like a steak sandwich with mayonnaise, and it came with Miracle Whip. And she was like, oh, is this Miracle Whip? And they're like, oh, you had to ask for real mayonnaise. So in that restaurant, if you say mayonnaise, it's Miracle Whip. If you want mayonnaise, you have to call it real mayonnaise. But, so anyways, I don't have the answer culturally. I say this all the time, though. It's so funny because, when people ask me how to get involved in politics and stuff, I don't have, like, all I could do is give my story. How I got involved in politics was started going to my local Republican county meetings. And then eventually I mentioned that someday I might want to run for office. And they kind of scoffed at me and were like, oh, you got to wait your turn. You can't primary anyone. And I was like, okay. And then in 2019, a special election came up where the candidate that won, the Republican, got ill and had to resign. And so they had a special election. And I ran for that. And from there, I met people and I started a channel. I'd already started a channel, I guess, before then. That was it. But my answer is always, first off, if you're getting involved in politics, it does not mean that you have to be the candidate. It does not mean that. It doesn't mean that you have to be the person who's debating or the person that's streaming. So many people think that they're going to be that or that they have to be that, and that's just not the case. There's only a limited amount of those slots to fill. Now, maybe it is you. Maybe you'll be great. I'm not saying don't do it if you think you're capable, but a lot of people find it daunting. There's all sorts of things you could do in the background to help candidates, to help fundraise, to help your party win. There's tons of things. In addition to that, the truth is politics isn't for everyone. It's just not. And oftentimes there's better things you could do as a conservative in fields that you would like more that probably would be more effective than getting involved in politics anyways. You should vote. You should encourage other people to vote. You should have an understanding of politics enough to make a decision to vote. But that doesn't mean that you got to be putting up yard signs and calling phone banks and knocking on doors necessarily. It's good if you could do that, but maybe you're an artist. Then use your platform to push conservative values. Maybe you're an actor. Then use it to push conservative values. There's all sorts of things you could do. The culture war is as important, if not more, than the political war. And how great would it be for a bunch of talented people that are conservatives to be like, we're going to put our heads together and come up with a hilarious movie or, a great action-packed movie, etc. I know it's tough. All of the traditional venues that people go through, universities, acting schools, etc., are dominated by lefties, but, Anyways, Graham Platner, let's talk about that briefly. So it looks like he has resigned. And we got a couple funny things. Now, I think I was spot on with this story. I'll repeat it one more time, but I'll be quick about it. The left did not have a come to Jesus moment. They realized that the internal polling shows that Platner is going to lose, particularly when these new scandals come out. And so there's a deadline after which, if Platner's still there, his name has to remain on the ballot. And so they forced Platner out before then. It's not that they cared. They were aware of these allegations and other similar ones, and they were okay with it. The only thing that's changed is now they realize they're going to lose. Okay. They don't give a shit about the will of the Democratic voter at all. They don't give a shit about the allegations, which is why they were more than happy to downplay them or pretend they didn't exist. And now they're going to pretend, oh, see, we care about these allegations. No, they don't. If they cared, they'd have been talking about it and vetting it months ago. The media doesn't give a shit. Just like with Joe Biden, when they came out and started eventually after the debate running stories critical of Joe Biden, it wasn't that all of a sudden they became real journalists. It's because they thought that Biden was harming the chances to beat Trump. And that's what mattered to the journalist. So they wanted to pressure Biden to get out of the race. It's exactly what they're doing with Graham Platner. And if you're out there and you're a Democrat, just know that. You only will be a candidate insofar as the establishment Democrat machine allows you to be. If they choose to weaponize their mainstream media to go after you, they will. So once you sign on with them, you better toe the party line 100% of the time. So here's Platner, the speech he gave here. 11 minutes. We're not going to listen to all that. Unfortunately, he doesn't have his tattoo out for this one, but let's listen to a little.
Hey, everyone. It's Graham Platner here. I think as many of you know, over the past couple days, I have faced some very serious allegations, and I just want to make it clear. This is all false. The things that have been claimed did not happen. It's not real. It has placed an immense amount of weight on me as I think about what needs to happen now. Amy and I are regular people. We were not looking for this experience. We were not looking to get into politics. We had no desire to run for office. I just want you to think about like what you would do as a regular person.
That's a great question, Greg. As a regular person, if I was truly innocent and someone accused me of these heinous crimes, I would not step down. I would say, fuck you. I refuse to be bullied by your bullshit allegations. That's what I would do as a regular person. Graham, you may also want to ask yourself this. Is it the Republicans that are attacking you right now? No. They had their attacks for months and months. They were ineffective. You didn't give a shit. It's the Democrats. It's their media apparatus. That's who's coming for you. So, Graham, if you really want to make a principled stand, then you shouldn't withdraw. You should stand and say, innocent until proven guilty. Fuck you people. Why are you all pressuring me now? Classic establishment Democrat Party. That's what you should do, Graham, if you're principled. But no, you're going to give in to the mob that's coming at you. They covered for you. And that's what's funny. When a scandal finally breaks like this and the Democrats realize, this guy's going to be a hindrance, let's send our media after them. All that's really happening is Graham Platner is getting a taste of the media that every Republican gets. That's it. Wait a minute. The media is not supposed to treat us like this. They're our attack dog. There you go. That's what you're getting. You're getting the treatment from your party's own media apparatus. You're getting the treatment from your party's own elected officials. Now, history will be rewritten now, and you'll see all these commentators, pundits, whatever. We've talked about this before, like when you take an incident like COVID. All these people say all this fucked up shit and defend all this messed up stuff. And then they'll later say, nah, that never happened. They'll scrub their timeline or they'll demand you bring up their post right then. And we'll forget because we move on. They're excellent at doing this and changing the narrative. So I'll put the link out here, but here is Tom Elliott. Good for him. He put out a supercut of all the Democrats that have been defending Graham Platner, even as all these stories came out, that will now be saying, we didn't know, we were duped. Don't worry, I'll prove it to you. Here we go.
Personal purity. We're not hiring a priest. We're hiring a senator. We're going to talk about fucking tattoos and sexting. He gets a hall pass.
I don't give a fuck if somebody had a toxic relationship. Toxic relationships and tattoos and all of this shit. Talk about Susan Collins.
He could be 100 times more fucked up than he is. He'd never be as fucked up as what we got in Washington now anyway. What I'm more outraged about, it's stupid, Susan Collins. I asked all of you to consider the candidacy of Graham Platner. I asked all of you to understand his flaws.
Are you rescinding your support for Graham Platner after the lewd posts that leaked?
What's the polling in Maine right now?
I don't get bothered by it as much. None of it. He's someone who had a drinking problem as a Marine.
Platner has owned up to mistakes he made as a younger guy. Do I want to make the best the enemy of the good?
Graham Platner is popular even though he is flawed. He is a flawed man, just like I'm a flawed man. And this is the key. Everybody is flawed at some level.
No one's perfect. All politicians have baggage. This just happens to be a candidate that has baggage.
He's got an anti-Semitic tattoo.
I feel like this president is saying, I hate black people.
I like Graham Platner. You like Graham Platner?
That's my kind of man.
I would vote for Platner. Let's get some power. Let's take over the Senate. Let's take over the House.
Somebody that has put his life on the line for this country against somebody that is literally empowering the moral hollowing out of our nation.
He had 2 tours of duty in Iraq. He came back broken in a dark place. He took accountability. He acknowledges that he was misogynistic, was toxicity, and there was a verbal intimidation, which I condemn. It happened in a dark period of his life. He's taken accountability. He started an oyster farm. He was on the ocean for years. He found himself. Look, let's give him some grace.
He went into combat on behalf of the United States. He went through a really rough period. PTSD type period.
Graham clearly made a mistake, and I've been on CNN saying that what I appreciated about him is that he owned that mistake. You know, what is disqualifying is having a senator in Maine who just does Donald Trump's bidding.
This is a guy who has served this country, who has gone through some really tough things. If this is going to be a character election in Maine, there is a question of character in continuing to support a president that is terrorizing immigrants.
I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that Graham Platner is the next senator from the state of Maine.
You know, all those Bible-clutching Christians voted for the guy who we all heard boast about sexual assault. Democrats have to take over the Senate. They have to take over the House. If I lived in Maine, I would hold my nose and I would pull that lever and I would vote for him.
Maybe we should be focusing on the important issues facing working people throughout this country, not focusing on his marriage.
It doesn't matter because he's right about what's wrong.
Sometimes you make alliances that you would not have made under a different set of circumstances. Franklin Roosevelt, Winston Churchill, who did they work with? Well, Joseph Stalin. His imperfections are imperfections that we can all identify with.
I'm not going to sit here and judge Mainers who want to push against the status quo. It's not my place to judge. If Graham Platner can earn their trust, then he earns their trust.
He thinks he's a changed person, a transformed person. I believe him.
Graham Platner is no Nazi. I don't think that he's a racist in any way. His relationship with his wife is his relationship with his wife. It's all about, leaked consensual, stuff.
The accusations against Graham Platner are not classic Me Too accusations, not like classic abuse allegations. Of course, in the Access Hollywood tape, President Trump bragged about grabbing women against their will. Gender-related accusations get bundled together, but they're actually very different.
Now, my take on this is I don't give a shit. If you're honestly like, I don't give a fuck, Trump's horrible, vote blue no matter who, fine. Right? But don't pretend you give a shit about, oh my goodness, Elon Musk raised his hand. It was a Roman salute. Oh my goodness, no. Racism, oh my goodness, oh my God, that guy's a misogynist. You don't give a shit about that stuff. That's fine. Just say it. I don't pretend to give a shit. I don't. You all don't give a fuck. You're the party that claimed that you're the Me Too people, hashtag believe all women, all that shit. You don't fucking believe them. You don't. You don't give a shit. That's fine. Just be honest. Oh my gosh, Trump was talking to his buddy and said, hey, women, let me grab them because I'm a billionaire. You guys clutching your pearls about that? You didn't give a shit. You didn't give a shit when it was Keith Ellison. You supported him. You didn't give a shit about Graham Platner and a litany of other Democrats that have fallen into. You did not give a fuck. Stop pretending. And many of these journalists, they knew the New York Times has been sitting on this allegation of the most heinous of sexual assault. They've been sitting on it for months. They all knew. They just assumed Platner would be able to win. Okay. Just like the attorney general there in Virginia. And here's the thing. There is a significant portion of the Democrat base that these sorts of stories actually make the candidates more popular. Because they think, if Graham Platner, he's sort of this outrageous character. Good, that means he'll fight Trump. Good. The attorney general there in Virginia that leaked messages came of wishing death upon Republican children. I didn't hurt him with Democrats. Probably hurt him with centrists and moderates, but not enough to lose. Not enough to lose. It's all performative. These people don't stand for anything. They don't give a shit. Of course, there's a special message of someone that I've interacted with a lot that I thought was worth bringing up here. Our good friend of the channel, Destiny. Here is his take. He says, abuses women, lies about working class background, Nazi tattoo, multiple tours on Iraq, joined Blackwater for fun. If we really wanted to beat Collins, we'd just run him as a Republican. He would have swept. I mean, I don't know if Destiny's the person to be out there talking about accusations of abusing women. Just saying. I don't know that he's the point person for that. Now, I've been pretty consistent when it comes to defending Destiny in the sense that I haven't seen the allegations against him proven. Granted, I haven't dug very deep. And when I'm debating him, I'm not bringing it up. But if he's going to weigh in on accusations that have been made, well, maybe you need a better messenger. Elizabeth Warren?
Graham Platner is the real deal. He's a fighter, and he's ready to take that fight to Washington. Graham Platner has the grit to go against the grain and to fight for what is right. That's the energy, that's the fighting spirit that the Democratic Party needs now more than ever.
We are suspending campaign operations.
Boom, 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 boom. Oh, no. Oh, I thought I had another one for y'all. Did I mess it up? Molly Jung Fast talking Lincoln Party dude. Rick Wilson. Here she is.
If you were a Republican strategist or Mitch McConnell, what would you do with the Graham Platner situation at this moment?
I would use a cutout person who is deeply involved with a whole bunch of right-wing causes, and I would get her the New York Times. I would try to tell it in a way that did not pay attention to the fact that she works for the Independent Women's Forum and the Heritage Foundation. I know the person that's making the accusations. She is a right-wing activist and operator. It's the kind of person I would have used when I was still doing that kind of work.
I'm baffled that the vetting process for this candidate, number one. I mean, this is just, the fact that they're just constant, allegations, I think really is a sign that there just was not proper vetting here. So another reason why, I don't know.
I mean, it is always amazing to me to watch if only these poor members of the so-called media, just like if only there was someone whose job it was to look into these people. I don't know what type of profession that would be, but man, we could have really used that. Here she is today. It's just one of dozens that you could pick on.
You know, a lot of us, I interviewed him for my podcast. I've talked to his team. When the first New York Times article came out, I said, this reads sort of funny. What else is there? Is there something else coming out? And everyone told me up and down, absolutely not. And I think all of us heard that same thing from him, from his team. Nothing else coming out. This is clearly a misunderstanding. There's nothing more coming out. We were sold an arc, right? A character arc of a person who had blacked out, but now no longer did that behavior. Now, I should have asked him when I interviewed him if he was drinking still, because there's only one way you get those blackouts, and that's from drinking. And so the idea we were sold this character arc, this person who gets better, who got better.
Yeah, it's crazy. Right? It's crazy. How could they have foresaw it? Now, it's the same fucking story with these people every time they end up with egg on their face. Now that we think about it, Joe Biden's team wouldn't leave us have access. It is pretty odd. He was never talking to us and doing these press conferences and was holding cards of the questions that we were only permitted to ask him and shit. Now that we look back, that was odd. It's their fault. How dare they lie to us? Yeah, now with the Russiagate stuff, Adam Schiff lied to us the whole time. It's his fault. We just believed him. We didn't, do actual journalism and look into the claims. We just believed the people. Well, two things. One, what the fuck good are you then? We're expected to believe that now all of a sudden you've changed? All the people that miss Biden's cognitive decline? Every fucking average person in America could see it. The only people that couldn't see it are the people whose jobs it was to see it. They somehow missed it. And they're like, oh, those dastardly Biden people. We should have saw the signs. They were lying to us. Okay. So what have you done to change it? Well, here we are with Graham Platner. Oh, the same people missed it again. How did it happen? Now, if they were really serious and it was just a big fuck up, then they would out the names of the people that lied to them and say, these motherfuckers will never be trusted again, like Adam Schiff. But no, he still goes on all these channels. He still goes on Jake Tapper. All the people that were connected to the Biden administration, they're still working with CNN and MSNBC. Oh, these bastards lied to us. Anyways, here they are again. What are your takes today? So for all the talk of Candace Owens and Baron Coleman and podcasters with batshit theories, I agree. There's a lot of shit to complain about. But this is how we got there. That's your traditional media. Oh, well, we asked Graham Platner's people, is Graham Platner a good guy? And they told us yes. And so we just assumed that was true. And we were like, oh, maybe we should have looked more into it. How are we supposed to know? We asked, are you a good guy? Yeah, you say you're a good guy? Okay. And then with the Republican, we asked them, are you a good guy? And they said, yeah. And we're like, no, you're not. You're a fucking racist. We don't know. Isn't that the way you're supposed to do it? The average person doesn't have the fucking time of day for this shit anymore. Meanwhile, I'll be debating someone within 3 weeks, and they're going to be like, oh, what fucking sources do you use? I looked up a study, and it says NPR and CNN and the New York Times are far more neutral and more trustworthy. They don't get stories wrong like that. They're not partisan. There you go. Thank you to Snake Driver. I haven't seen this, but we'll assume it's good. He's good, and this is on YouTube. So this is Graham Platner, strategist, explaining his vetting process.
At this point, you hadn't vetted Graham Platner. You hadn't done a full scrub of who he is. How did you go about vetting him?
We paid a nice firm a whole chunk of money and got some stuff back. Some of what you've seen on the news we got back. Other stuff we didn't.
Did the vetting process turn up the tattoo that became so controversial?
No.
The Reddit posts, did that turn up in the vetting process?
The firm sent us a thing and it had some of the posts, but it didn't have all of them.
And what did you think about that? How did you think your way through the fact that he had posted these things on social media?
I said none of this will or should stop him from becoming a U.S. Senator.
And what was your thinking there?
I think if what the voters wanted were people who were grown in vats and had never done or said anything that they might regret their entire lives, we'd have a very different country. Part of our thesis here is that people do not want their candidates grown in vats. They want people who are real human beings, and they want people who do not look and sound like the vat-grown people who've been leading this country off a cliff for the last century.
I mean, there's part of what he's saying that's true there. I mean, you can see just how lax it all was. But the devil's in the details. Yeah, most people don't give a shit. The days of, oh, this candidate had an affair. Like that. Most people don't give a shit now. Criminal sexual assault, that's a bit different. A lot of these post and have the, totem comp tattoo. Maybe that's different. Maybe not, though. But the problem is, these motherfuckers pretend like that shit matters, and it manufactures stories about boring-ass Republicans. Like, remember when they just out of wholesale cloth invented the story about J.D. Vance having sex with a couch? Remember that? Oh, he's weird. He's so weird. Yeah, he did that, remember? And pretended like they gave a shit about that stuff. Meanwhile, they'll put forth any fucking degenerate. They don't care. And then they're like, well, we don't give a fuck. We just want to win. That's the truth. That's fine. You don't give a shit. But then we don't give a shit when you claim to look at candidates on our side and say, oh, well, he's been accused of this, that. You motherfuckers don't care about that. You don't care about racist posts. You don't give a shit. You didn't care when Graham Platner did it. You guys are like, we don't care. Of course it wasn't true. So, there you go. There's the story of Graham Platner. Now he goes the way of Eric Swalwell. I hope you enjoyed your 15 minutes of fame, Graham Platner. Here's the deal with the Democrats. You're only defensible to them. Being a member of the party has its benefits. Just like the commies, just like the Bolsheviks. Right up until the point you become more of a liability than an asset. Then they're going to kick your ass to the fucking curb. Now, that guy had a weird voice. Is that what you were looking? He did have a weird voice. All right. I have to go to the restroom. Then we'll come back and talk some Tyler Robinson trial stuff. I will be right back. I hope you guys don't mind if I go to the restroom. All right. Let's read some super chats and we'll get to the Tyler Robinson stuff. I hope that's all right. A little bit of the RFK thing going, I don't know. Super chats. We got Single Dads Club, $10 says, how do you feel about idiots raging on you for teaching people how to debate at Turning Point USA? It's fucking stupid. So I guess, hell, that dovetails in. So sorry, rest of the super chats. We'll get I'll come back to that one. Thank you for the 10. And then he says, careful, Rob. Brian Shapiro is seething right now for 10. Thank you so much. Dan Vicious over on Rumble, $1 says, oh, got to do the original Ninja Turtles. I read that one. You're absolutely right, Dan. Intel Wild, $20 says, Rob, a couple in Brazil is being threatened 50 days behind bars for homeschooling their children, calling it intellectual neglect by teaching their children outside a state-approved curriculum. Your thoughts? It's the same sort of state education shit that we deal with in the United States, though maybe not the locking up of it. But the globalists and the big lefties and the big government people want to have total control over your children. They're against procreation themselves, so they want to indoctrinate your children. And so that means that they're saying that you should have to go to their state-approved places to educate your children. And so I'm not surprised in a country like Brazil that's locking up their political opposition that they would do this. Single Dad Club, $5 says chair fun. Chair appreciates. And Joseph Romano for $5. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Always do. Blessings upon you. How do I feel about the idiots raging on me for teaching people how to debate at Turning Point? I talked about this in my video about Turning Point, but I'll do it again. I think those people are stupid, is what I think. First off, I guess you just have to take my word. I'm not going to tell you the dollar amount that I got paid, but it wasn't like life-changing money or anything like that. And it was for one event. It was to go down and teach debate. In particular, to give some thoughts and teaching on the style of debate that's like the pick up the mic tour. That sort of stuff. Now, I honestly have not followed a lot of the drama about Turning Point, both when Charlie was alive and now. I tangentially knew that there were some things about Turning Point that I raised my eyebrow about. For example, some of the women's leadership summit people they were bringing in, it's like, what are they doing here? There's part of that. I don't know about many of their political beliefs. Like, I have a general idea of what Turning Point stands for. Just like more normie conservatism. I would say they're more interventionist than me. There are people that swear up and down they're bought and paid for by Israel and Netanyahu. I probably think that's bullshit, but probably would say they're more friendly to Israel and more Zionist than me, I would say. Stories of what goes on once the camera goes up. Where do I even be? I haven't heard any of that with Turning Point. I've heard that, like, just working around politics. I hear this shit all the time. I hear, like, oh, man, if you go to, what's the big Republican event they'd have every year? Why can't I think of it? Someone knows. I did not get 7K. Why can't I think of the name? The big Republic, CPAC. I remember I was doing this event, and I won't say people's names, but I was at this Republican event, and people were telling me about CPAC. They're like, have you ever been to CPAC? I was like, no. They're like, oh, it's crazy. You know, you wouldn't believe the debauchery. All these Republicans getting hookers and hooking up and doing drugs. And that's probably true. That's CPAC. So shit like that happened at Turning Point? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. RNC, you hear shit like that. Here's the thing, right, with me. I used to be, I was never a big, I'm just like, you could believe me or not. I guess I don't give a shit. I have no way of proving it. I was never a big hooking up with a bunch of people type person. Part of that's, I think, that I had like low self esteem, but I also just didn't have much of an interest. I just didn't. So I wasn't the type of guy, even when I would go out on dates, I would, I wasn't trying to hook up with someone the first night. It's not what I did. I drank my face off. I was a fucking partier, but I was never really trying to hook up with people. And I did drugs too. I'm not going to lie. But I'm over it. I'm married. I have a kid. I don't want to fucking join an organization and go out for wild parties and shit. I just don't give a fuck. When I do these events, when I'm there to help Republicans and stuff, whether it be a candidate or I'm going to some sort of, like Republican event, I truly am not looking to make friends or party. I just want to do the job that I was either paid for or that I was volunteering for because I believe in the message, and then that's it. Now, if I have friends that are there, that's different. So when I get on to DebateCon and like Avarice will be there and Andrew Wilson, that's one thing. But I'm not looking to, I don't know. Like, you can believe me or not, that's how I feel. And so I was at an event. I'm not going to say where exactly, but I was at an event where people were telling me like, oh, you'd think this is crazy, like the after parties and shit, and you should go to it. And I was like, no, that sounds the opposite of what I want. That sounds like a huge pain in the ass, personally. That's what I think. My idea of like a great CPAC would be like going with my wife and attending and hearing the speeches and maybe talking to some people, and then me and my wife going out for a nice dinner and being back to the hotel room by like 10 o'clock and watching River Monsters on TV. That would be my idea of a successful trip. So I don't know what to say about like, well, there are stories at night of what happens at Turning Point. I didn't see shit all of that. Want to know what I did the entire time? I hung out with Andrew Wilson. We went to a Mexican restaurant one evening, and then we went to Denny's for lunch one time, and we talked about shit. That's it. It was no crazy debauchery or any shit like that. So I don't know what to speak to that. Their specific message, I don't know. If Nick Fuentes said, Rob, I'm doing an event for Groypers, would you show up and help teach them some debate? I'd say yes. If Ben Shapiro called me and said, hey, the Daily Wire's doing a thing, would you show up and help teach them some debate? I'd say yes. If the Blaze called and said, Rob, will you show up and help teach people debate? I'd say yes. If CPAC called, if the Trump administration called, yes. If any fucking left-wing organization asked me that, and they were like, we'll pay you $100,000, I would say no. And I will tell you, I was offered something that was probably bullshit. I'll admit that. It probably wasn't going to happen. But I was offered something for 6 figures that had to do with a show that would do debate, and it was training left-wingers and right-wingers to debate. And I said, absolutely fucking not. I refuse to train left-wingers. Won't do it. Now, I want to be clear. You guys are like, wow, that's cool. There was also heavy speculation on my part that the money was bullshit, that it was never coming anyways. But even if it wasn't, even if they had a contract right there, I'd have been like, no, not doing it. I don't give a fuck. Now, would I do it if I was broke and I'm losing my house? Probably. But I'm not. I'm very happy. I'm not rich, but I'm not poor. So why do I give a shit to that? I'm not going to fucking help the left. Fuck them. I hate the ideology that comes from the left. I'm not helping them. Period. I would help them change the tire in their car. I would help them mow their yard if it was a lefty. I'm not helping them politically. At all. Period. So I would help the right, even right-wingers that I disagree with. Now, there's a level. I don't think if Candace Owens called me and said, hey, can you come over here and help me and my people debate? I'd probably say, fuck you. I don't know, unless they paid me a huge... So, I told Turning Point I would probably do the event for free. Now, at this point, just to be clear, doing events for free is something that I've done a lot, and it's really fucking stupid. I have made, listen, let's just really take away all pretenses. You see the donor bar up top? I'm at $332. I set a goal of $357. The reason I set that goal is after YouTube takes their cut, if you donate $357 to me, I get roughly $250. If I'm making $250 a day, I pay my bills, I'm doing okay. Right? Now, most of you that have watched a reasonable amount of time, I'll just ask you, do I usually reach the goal of 357? Do I usually reach it? We'll leave the audience say. When you're watching me, do I usually reach the goal of $357? Yeah, there's certain nights I don't. Many nights I go well over it. And that's just YouTube. The Rumble people are generous. So if I get on an airplane, even if someone pays for the plane and the hotel, if I'm somewhere for 4 days where I'm not streaming, I just lost $250 a night. So even if someone pays all my meals and puts me up in a hotel and flies me, that's negative $250 every day that I'm gone that I'm not streaming. That's at minimum. So if I'm in an event for 4 days and I'm like $1,000, that's breaking even. On the other hand, the guy that I've been my entire life, $1,000 for 4 days works a lot of fucking money. Sometimes I feel guilty asking for money. It's like, I don't know. So I found myself in some pretty crazy situations that other streamers have told me, like, what are you doing? I've done things where I've worked hours for projects behind the scene and got paid like $1,000 or $2,000. And people were like, dude, you could have done 4 streams and did that. But instead you worked like 150 hours. So when a group contacts you and says, would you like to help us debate? And it's a huge conservative group. And I'm like, you're fucking right, I would. I was like, sure. And they're like, we're discussing money. And I was like, I'll be honest, I'd probably do it for free, but I would like money. That's honestly what I said. And so we worked out an arrangement. That was it. And I have all these motherfuckers like, oh, you piece of shit. If you really cared, you would have did it for free. I would have done it for free. But I was offered money, so I took the money. I didn't sell out. I didn't say something that I wouldn't have otherwise. I told them I'd probably do it for free. By the way, Andrew yelled at me. He's like, what the fuck are you doing, you moron? Don't tell people you do. This is a true story. Honest to goodness, this is true. I'm going to my buddy's bachelor party this weekend. He was a debate partner of mine, and he was my campaign manager when I ran for Congress. So when I ran for Congress, the entire team was me, my buddy Tom, and my wife, who helped me out with shit. That was it. And when I get to the convention where it's taking place, because it wasn't a primary. What it was conferees voted. So my goal was to make it into the top 10 so I could give a speech, which I did. But then the way it worked was the bottom percentage, each round of voting, were removed. So I lost once we got to the top 10. I was the first person out. But then people were impressed with me, right? They really were. And they came up and they were asking me questions. And I gave a tremendous speech. I was the only person who got a standing ovation. So I had all these people coming up to me. And I'm literally just a fucking redneck. And I'm sitting there you could ask my wife and my buddy Tom. I'm sitting there bullshitting to them like, who do you think's going to win? Blah, blah, blah. Where are we going to go for lunch afterwards? The fat guy in me, you know? By the way, this same event, I was wearing like a sports coat and like some slacks and white socks. And my fucking campaign guy, Tom, he's like, what the fuck are you doing with white socks? You didn't bring dress socks? I'm like, no, I don't fucking wear dress socks. So he's like, I got an extra pair. Put these on, you fucking goof. So I had to borrow my buddy's socks to go do this event. And I'm sitting there talking to him, and this dude comes up, and he's working for one of the other. He's like a campaign dude for one of these other candidates that's got a real shot to win. And he's like, would you help us write speeches? I said, yeah, sure. And he's like, how much would it cost? I was like, I don't know, take me out for lunch, buy me a sandwich or something. He's like, okay. And he walks away. And my buddy Tom and my wife are like, what the fuck are you doing? And I was like, what? They're like, that's a job opportunity. Someone just came to you and was like, we'll pay you to do this thing. And you were like, nah, never mind, just buy me a sandwich. And I was like, oh. And Andrew's always yelling me for that shit. He's like, what are you doing, man? Like, it's okay if someone says, can you help me with this event? Can you help me write a speech? It is the normal thing in the world to be like, sure, I expect to be compensated. But not me. I'm always a fucking idiot. Like, yeah, I believe in the cause. Sure, I'll do it. I'm doing okay. Fine. No problem. So I am getting a little better at being like, hey, is there compensation here if I'm going to fly states over to do something? But apparently, and by the way, thank you for the generous super chats. I promise I'll get to them. But to all the people that are like, oh, you took money from Turning Point. I mean, yeah, I did. Fuck you. I don't know what to say. I would have did it for free. Does that make it worse? That I was going to go work for these Zionist shills for free? I don't know. I wasn't looking at it like that. I hate the fucking ideology of the left. I want to work with right-wingers to crush the ideas on the left. That's it. And you might be a bigger thinker to me and it's like, it's all false dialectic and it's this and it's that and it's this and this. Hey, maybe you're right. I'm a simple man. I see a target, I go for the target. That's it. I want real world change. I want to work with people that have a chance to change our political system and change our cultural system. Turning Point USA is a huge organization that's one of the biggest conservative outreaches to particularly young people on college campuses. I'm more than happy to go there and share some of my ideology and my expertise in debate to hopefully move the needle forward in a direction I want to see the country go. Am I going to agree with everything Turning Point stands for? No. Am I going to agree with everything the people I'm teaching debate are going to go for? No. But what? I'm supposed to have some sort of ideological purity test? And then it just so happens to coincide with, and I'm going to be completely honest with y'all, Andrew decides I'm going to go to war with these fucking like Candace Owens types, which he'd been poking and prodding at people like Jake Shields for a long time anyways. Okay, great. And so I see a lot of people attacking Andrew. It's showing up on my feed. This shit wasn't showing up on my feed that much until Andrew and people were getting back and forth. The way I put together this show most of the time is mostly through X. I'm looking at the stories that are coming on my feed on X. I try to follow left-wing people and right-wing people, and then I get like a good slew of stories that I talk about. Now, all of a sudden, I'm seeing all this this more of the conspiracy shit. Now, had I talked about the conspiracy shit before? Sure. People that have watched my show have seen it, and I kind of was like, hey, I'm not trying to be an asshole to Candace or her fans, but what's the theory? This isn't making much sense to me. And they were like, you're a Fed, you're fucking getting paid by Israel. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening here? No, I don't want to spend one dime ever again on Israel. I just am asking, like, what I'm trying to understand where you're all coming from. And then, of course, I'm not saying that this is some scheme of mine. I was very much affected by the murder of Charlie Kirk in many ways, but one of the ways that's maybe unique is, and I've talked about this, here's Charlie, and here's me, but we're both like debating, right? I'm not saying I'm anywhere near Charlie Kirk. But the phenomenon that I found weird was all of these people that Charlie debated that celebrated or made excuses for his murder. And I was like, that's like me. How many of these people I debate would do that? And then for me, and I'll play the clip here for you real quick, the moment that always gets me every fucking time is watching on the video that the White House put this together and then my editor, Black Elk, made a couple changes. But on this video, it's just a minute. I'm not ending the show. But I play this video every night, and I've been playing it every night for months and months and months and months. And the moment that always gets me is watching his daughter run to him. It gets me every time. And I think about my son. And I think about when I do events in public, how serious now security has to be. And how I've received just a small amount of threats. And how fucked up things are coming in this country with these radical lefties. And I told myself, I never want to forget that feeling. I never want to forget it. That's how big the stakes are. So here's what I'm talking about.
Only in America is it possible to say, you know what, I don't like the way the country is going, and to do something about it. Take that risk. Take that leap of faith. Stay involved. Trust God and act obediently. Romans 12:2 verse. That God will use all things for good for those who love him. It's bigger than you. I want you to remember that. It is bigger than you. It's bigger than me. You are here to make somebody else's life better, the pursuit of liberty and freedom. You know what gives me strength? The hundreds of thousands of you that say, Charlie, keep going.
1 Corinthians 5 and 15. So that's all pretty amazing evidence, not just intra-biblical evidence, but extra-biblical evidence that Jesus Christ was a real person. He lived a perfect life. He was crucified, died, and rose on the third day, and he is Lord and God of all.
So I watch that every night. I watch that clip. And I don't play it because I was like, oh, maybe someday Turning Point USA will call me and ask me to coach their debater. Never even remotely crossed my mind. But to the people that are like, well, you didn't talk about Charlie Kirk and all this stuff before you went to Turning Point. I don't know anyone who's talked about that moment more than me, other than probably Andrew Colvin, Erica Kirk, etc. I may not have said, here's what, I didn't know who the fuck Baron Coleman was until he started showing up on my feed. He showed up on my feed for two reasons. One, because I follow Andrew, and so the people interacting with him showed up on my feed a lot. And second, because the prelims of Tyler Robinson started. And so these voices started being amplified on my feed even more than before. That's it. That's the big secret. So to all the people that are like, oh, you got paid by Turning Point. That's why you're not talking about this. I've said every night, these violent fucking lefties want to take us out and want to distract from it and never forget what the stakes are. I didn't know all the fucking crazy theories verbatim. I talked about the Egyptian plane shit. That's it. Now I'm watching, okay, what's the big news story of today? Tyler Robinson trial. Okay, we watched the trial. Okay, the counter theories, I'm like, wait a minute. There would have to be a lot of fucked up shit for this counter theory to be correct. Like a lot of people. Would Tyler Robinson's family have to be involved? Would the medical examiner have to be involved? Would the local campus security have to be involved? Did the sheriff's department have to be involved? The feds were involved? It seems like there's a lot of moving pieces. So I'm like, wait a minute, I'm pushing back on it. I'm trying to figure out what makes the most sense to me. And I have a bunch of fucking assholes that are like, you're just doing this because Turning Point paid you. Or you're just doing this because Andrew Wilson's telling you to do this. That's not fucking true. None of it's true. Andrew Wilson does a lot of debating on orthodoxy. How much do you ever hear me talking about it? Andrew's debating probably 3-4 times a week. How many times do I talk about his specific debates? Maybe once every 2 weeks. I'll say, oh, I saw something interesting. Did I jump on any of Andrew's spaces? Nope. Am I sending super chats in when he's on like Modern Day Debate? No. Some people can't handle that just because I'm friends with Andrew and I've been contracted to do work with Andrew in the past, that I'm allowed to do whatever the fuck I want. And in fact, it's usually better for me because a lot of my audience comes from Andrew. So if I'm just repeating what Andrew says, what the fuck good is it? So I talk about my own shit. Period. Now, are my takes going to be similar to Andrew a lot? Of course. We have a very similar worldview. But I did not receive one fucking dime to spread one message from Turning Point USA. I was not told the only person that brought up Charlie Kirk's assassination that I could remember when I was coaching with Andrew was me. And I brought it up in a very specific context. Not about Candace Owens or about any of that. I brought it up in the context of why it's important to be aggressive for our worldview and push back. Because they killed Charlie and they mocked the organization. And they mocked right-wingers. And it's okay for us to say, fuck you. We're not calling for violence, but we're allowed to aggressively push back. We're allowed to be proud of our religion. We're allowed to be proud of our values and say, fuck you. We don't have to get pushed around by you people. Now, does that mean that I agreed with everyone in that room? No. But I believe they were all conservatives. I believe they were pushing that central thesis of going against the left. My theory is the vast majority of people that are pissed off and are saying this shit don't know shit all about what happened as far as what I was doing down there. And they're sour grapes. Or it's just fucking Israel does everything ever, so they must have controlled me now through Turning Point. And I don't know what to say other than go fuck yourself. I'm saying what I'm saying because I fucking believe it. That's it. And I'm not going to be able to convince people of that, but that's the fucking truth. People were like, I had someone message me, they said, Rob, you're making a mistake. What if you found out that Erica Kirk and Turning Point were involved? If I sincerely believe, if I see evidence that makes me believe that Turning Point USA or Erica Kirk were involved in the murder of Charlie Kirk, you're fucking right I'd be talking about it. I haven't seen it. I would never take a dime from them again if I find out that's the case and believe that. But I don't believe that. These motherfuckers would rather see someone poor and have no ability to influence our national discourse if it means that you're working for someone that they just don't like because, you know, Israel or something. So, a long-winded way of answering your question, how do I feel about idiots raging on me for teaching people how to debate at Turning Point USA? I feel embarrassed for them. I feel like I don't give a fuck. It does make me somewhat angry, but it's not that I'm really angry at them. It's that I'm angry because it's like, it's just so low-hanging fruit. And it's like, gosh, there's people that are like, this is what our discourse is now. This is it. I tried to help Dr. Oz's campaign beat John Fetterman. I told Dr. Oz to his face I didn't like him as a candidate. But I liked him more than Fetterman, so I would help. You know how much money I got paid for that? Zero. When I ran for office, I refused to take one donation. I ended up spending thousands of dollars on a credit card that I finally paid off 2 years ago. These motherfuckers. You get paid to get political points. Yes, and I'm blessed, and I'm very lucky. Thank you all. Again, I can't be more clear about this. Much to the chagrin of many of my long-term fans. If Nick Fuentes called me tomorrow and said, we're doing an event, we'd like you to come down and give a 2-hour lecture on debate, I'd fucking go if it made sense. Like, I'm not going to, like, miss important real-life events, but if the schedule made sense, and if they said we would like to pay you some thousands of dollars to come, I'd say, okay, sure. As long as we're coaching just debate, and I'm convinced you're using that to beat the left. Would that also mean I'm an Israel shill? I'm a Zionist? Or am I a Fed now? The Feds run Nick Fuentes and the Feds run Turning Point. So I'm not going to leave those people control the direction of my life. If Turning Point calls me tomorrow and says, Rob, we'd like to pay you a big salary to be part of Turning Point and help shape the direction of where we're going in the future and shit like that, I'd hear them out. I actually want to work with people that could actually have the ability to change our culture and change our politics. If the Daily Wire called, I'd hear them out. If the Blaze called, I'd hear them out. If the Trump administration called, I'd hear them out. If part of the deal was, we know that you've said that you don't want to spend more money in Israel and shit, but you have to change your opinion now. I'd say, no thanks. Not interested. Sorry. I'm pretty happy where I live now. I'm not missing any meals. Thanks for the offer. Good luck. Yeah, Daily Wire. Why not? Yeah, I'd work for PragerU. It depends on what they want me to do, though. If they're going to have control over what I say and say you can't say this and you must say that, then the answer is going to be no. Now, there's limits. If they're like, we would like you to stop swearing, that's different. I could probably be talked into that. Or, look, for our platform, could you cut back on some of the race stuff? Like the I'm Speaking Now segment, maybe? I could probably be talked into something like that. But that's it. Would I work for AIPAC? Probably not. I just think the fundamental goal of AIPAC is different than... So different, where I'm like, I'm tired of the foreign policy shit. I'd like to focus domestically. I'm Speaking Now is a timeless cat. But I don't know. All I could do is try to be like, I don't know. I can't speak for anyone else, but I'm a very flawed man. And I think this is almost like therapy for me sometimes. I ain't going to no fucking therapist. I think it's more like stand-up comedy. Like, to me, a good stand-up comic's kind of telling you truths about their life, just in a really funny way. So I'm sort of just telling you, there are nights that I come on here and I'm like, I'm just talking like the voice in my fucking head. I'm just talking. And I might say, am I a piece of shit? Am I a hypocrite? What would I do in this situation? Everybody wants to pretend it's super simple. Oh, you just always do the morally right thing. I don't know. I think that most people are full of shit that they wouldn't. But maybe not. I don't know. But I'm just being honest with you with my thought process with the shit. And then people use that as a sign of weakness. Oh, Rob admits he's been a hypocrite. I have been. Oh, Rob admitted he'd take money from Turning Point USA or from the Daily Wire. Yeah, under certain circumstances. I don't know what to say. That's it. If that pisses you off, at least I'm being transparent. So, anyways, a long-winded answer there. Let's get to some super chats. Man, Gozy, $10 over on Rumble, says, yeah, you usually reach it. Yeah, I usually reach the goal. And it's a weird thing. Like, I'll even defend lefties. Like, when I was working with Word War, and part of what was going on was trying to entice people to come in and debate on that platform, obviously the question of compensation comes up. And so if you're someone like Cenk Uygur, Cenk could probably make a decent penny doing a speaking event or a debate, so you're going to have to pay up. That's different than someone like me, who probably doesn't command as much compensation to go do a debate. That's just life. I talked to a person once that was setting up some in-person debates, and they were talking about the idea of getting a lefty like Destiny. And I was like, look, Destiny could stream and probably easily make $1,000, $1,500 in a night. So if you're offering him $500 to fly in somewhere, financially, that probably isn't going to cut it for him. Now, he might want to do it because he enjoys the platform or wants to debate that particular opponent. But I understand understand that. I'm not like, oh, that's shitty. And even with Candace Owens now, all these people are like, we'll pay you $50,000 to come debate. That's chump change to her. To me, it's not chump change. If someone was like, we'll pay you $50,000 to go debate an issue that, maybe you're only semi-interested in, I'll be like, don't worry, I'm going to be very interested in it by the time I get there for 50 grand. You're fucking right. I'll be there. But to someone who's exceedingly wealthy, it's like, maybe that's not a big deal. So I'm not trying to be a prick when I say, like, yeah, okay, I went down and I got paid. I don't think it's unreasonable. There is a solid chance, I'm just going to call it straight, there is a solid fucking chance that if instead of going down there, I would have said, we're going to do a whip extravaganza tonight, that I would have made more money staying here streaming for like 8 hours. That's just the truth. I've done it before. So it's like, I don't know. I don't think it's unreasonable to get compensated to be a debate coach. Would I be interested in debating with Russell from Abolitionist? I don't know him very well, but sure, I would talk to pretty much anyone. All right, more super chats. Single Dad's Club, $10 says, it's not about TPUSA, it's about rendering your service. Why can't people accept that? Yeah, I don't know. When I was a collegiate debate coach, most of the people I coached were probably lefties. Now, I've become more political since then, but Kuntime Act What? $5 says, thanks for popping my comment earlier for free. It's pronounced Kunti Mac Twat. Oh, there we go. Well, thank you. Single Dad's Club, $10 says, if you don't mind me asking, I'm interested in the reception of your knowledge. How was the organization receptive to me? So it was a package deal. It was me and Andrew, to be honest. I was told by everyone at that organization that universally, all the people in attendance were absolutely ecstatic by Andrew and I's performance. And it seemed to be authentically the case. A lot of what I was doing was being the lefty. And like they pick up the mic like they would be at college campus, and I come up and I'm a feminist. And I'm going to grill them. And how much do they know? So, it was, on one hand, that's easier because a lot of it's improv. On the other hand, it's harder because you have to know, I'm just like, okay, it's sort of like the no prep debate. What's your issue? Oh, my issues, I'm against feminism. Okay, so I have to immediately. So I think a lot of people were impressed, though. I think it was received well. Look at this absolute legend. Robert, I really don't want to butcher this for $200. Robert Sidorchuk, thank you so much, man. What an absolute legend. Says you suck at this whole grifting thing. I know I do. That's why when I first started streaming full time, that's why they made this, making fun of me, because I'm not very good at it. When streaming was a hobby for me, it was fine. It's like, whatever. It is what it is, But it is my livelihood now. This is how I get paid, which is still weird to me. So now it's a little different. Now you have to kind of be like, hey, send money. I'd like to get paid. But I don't know. Again, other streamers give me shit all the time. They're like, what are you doing, man? Like, so I try to compromise. Like the whole whip song thing for me is an attempt at a compromise. Because it used to be I'd play those whip songs and shit as people donated. And then I'd have tons of people like, this is fucking stupid. Those people are right, by the way. The whip song thing is stupid. But it's a big way that I make money. So what I do is I try to shove that at the end of the show so that the people that just want to listen to the commentary could be like, okay, I'm out now. But even that pisses people up. There's no winning. The truth is, anytime someone like me or Andrew or Rachel Wilson or Jake Rattlesnake or Jim Bob or Jay Dyer or anyone who's commenting on like religion or culture or politics, anytime we make a buck, there's going to be someone pissy about it. Well, that's not right. well, you're just a greedy. It's like, I don't know what to say. I would never, all I can tell you all is, just the total honesty, I have no intentions of ending this show. If for whatever reason I get demonetized or no one ever sends me another dime again, I would still do this show, but it'd probably be like once a week because I'd have to get a full-time job. And when I had that full-time job and I was working like 80, 90 hours a week, this channel comes as a lower priority. So I stream when I can, but I would still do it. But now it is my full-time job, so I try to get paid. And I hope that I toe the line of not being too obnoxious about grifting while at the same time, trying to politely say, hey, the money helps. So, but I honestly, I can't thank you all enough for donating. And, I saw Rachel was in the chat. You could ask Rachel, like, Andrew yells at me all the time. He's like, what are you doing? If someone says, Rob, will you do hours of work to help me with this thing? It's okay for you to say, are you going to pay me? Because I'm always like, sure. And he's like, yeah, dude, it's okay to be like, if someone's coming to you for help for something like that, it's okay to be like, can you pay me? Like, sure, I could do that for. And for me, it's always like, oh, I always feel like I'm putting someone out. Like, I don't know. It's like, Rob, they asked you to fly out to a different state and debate. That's worth something. That's worth some money. It's okay to be like, sure, can you pay me? So I don't know. But it doesn't matter. People are still going to be like, you're a greedy fuck. So whatever. Single Dads Club, thank you so much. $100. Unbelievable. Says, you're rendering your services. It's a business model to your knowledge, which nobody can counter. I agree with you. Go as far as cutting the left off. I love that because you become an asset. You're considering your own debate school. I highly suggest that. I don't know. It's something to think about with the debate school thing. It is, but it is something that I started doing debate reviews because I thought that could help somewhat. But my goal is, here's my thing. I don't have to be the guy in front of the camera. I really don't. It's indifferent to me. I don't mind it. I like this, but I would like just take it pure politically. I would be fine being the guy that's helping the governor, and I don't need to be the governor. So if I could help people debate that are going to be amazing people that are going to change the political and cultural landscape in ways that I want it to go, why wouldn't I do that? That's my feeling. I'll also keep putting myself out there in front of the camera, but I don't need to be the big man. It's irrelevant to me. I wish that the country was going in an amazing direction and I could sit at home with my beautiful wife and my son and we could buy an RV and travel the country and go fishing and I could play video games and get my mower fixed. That'd be great. But I feel it would be at this point a dereliction of duty to allow the country to keep going in the direction it is for my son to be growing up in. If that makes sense. And then again, Single Dad Club. Man, thank you. $10 says, I would like to see you on whatever podcast. I'd love to see that. I would do whatever. I think I would be better on a debate, like the one-on-one debates they have. I don't know how much I have to say to the usual gaggle of ladies they have on there. I guess I would try my hand at it. But like when Andrew's on there, he's entertaining. And that's an issue he focuses on a lot. For me, it would just be like, I just can't get over particularly with like, the thing that always sticks in my head with the OnlyFans thing is like, theoretically, you're going to like eventually move on. You're going to be older. Maybe you're going to want kids someday. What are you going to tell your kids? How do you recover from that? How do you recover from the fact that someday your kid's going to get mocked because mommy was selling sex online? That to me is like, but I mean, what am I going to say? Like everybody already says that. So, but I appreciate it. Man, unbelievable. Robert Sidorchuk, again, another 200. What a legend. Says, when it happened, it radicalized me because I was way more right than him, and they fucking ended him. I say it all the time. Charlie Kirk didn't get killed for being a radical right-winger. Most of my audience, myself included, is more right-wing than Charlie Kirk. He didn't get killed for being radical. He got killed for being effective. That's why. There's sort of a hierarchy. These people, these lefties, are morally superior to you in their own worldview, but they don't want to just outright kill you out of the gate. They just want you to have no power and be culturally and politically neutered. And so if they can do that through ridicule and shame or ignoring you, then they will. But if they can't, well, then maybe they'll do it through intimidation, harassment. But if that doesn't work, maybe they'll do it through the legal system. If that doesn't work, maybe they'll do it through the political system. If that doesn't work, well, there's an answer for that too. I've told this story. I'll be quick about it. I was on this website, Above Top Secret. There was this lefty guy that I used to interact with a lot. And after Charlottesville, he came out and said, it is now clear that Donald Trump is a member of that Austrian Painters Party, and so is everyone that supports him. And that everything's on the table in dealing with these people. Everything. He stressed that. And so it was like pulling teeth because he's trying not to get kicked off the site for violating terms of service. But after an interaction with this guy back and forth, who, by the way, was not a dumb guy. I'd interacted with him before. He was a big commie, but he straight out said, we want to shame you. We want you out of political and cultural power. We want you fired from your job. We want you to be a social pariah. But if that doesn't work, and it looks like Trump's going to win the 2020 election, then we may have to kill millions of you. He just came right out with it. The way he put it was, if it looks like you guys are going to continue to have political power, then we will maybe have to kill millions of people. And I was like, well, how will we know if it looks like we're going to make? He said, if it looks like Trump could win 2020. That's it. I appreciate the honesty. It's an insane opinion. And he'd probably never have the balls to actually carry it out. But that's what they mean. That's why Charlie was killed. That's why he was a target by the left. That's why he was celebrated. Not because of his extreme beliefs, but because he was effective. They took a good chess piece off the board. Yay, celebrate that. That's what it was. So it should be radicalizing. Because what that means is if you ever become effective, hell, let's say you don't do politics. Let's just say maybe you start producing movies and they start to really move the culture in a certain way. Well, now you're a target. They don't like that. It should be radicalizing. That's why I talk about it every night. That's one of the reasons. Single Dads Club again. Thank you, man. $20 says, I understand what you're saying. I'm a military veteran that has been blown up 100% disabled from touring Afghanistan. Sorry to hear that, man. You have Andrew plus Rattlesnake are the new warfare. You're the new voices of freedom. We love you. Thank you. It means a lot, especially to be included in with those guys. I think those guys are great. But it's a strange feeling because I don't think I'm special in the sense that I'm good at debate. I'm good at talking. I think I have a good mind for like normative politics, but I am just a regular person. But it really means a lot. Thank you. Darian Munshaw, 10 memberships. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. Miss Peachy Keens, thanks for being a member. 2 months says Deus Vault. Thank you. Thank you so much. Scott Hotbed, 14 months. Thank you. Says no freebies. Your experience is worthy of pay. Thank you. And then Darian again for $10 says, Rob's been awesome to watch. Great channel. Also get the likes up. Thank you. Yeah, likes are free. Great Zach Kelpie. How you doing, man? $5 says, I wouldn't work for AIPAC either, mostly because they're ineffective and gave money to Elizabeth Warren, who is no fan of Israel. Well, there you go. Ineffective, yeah. I mean, look, it's weird because we all have thresholds. Here's the problem in a nutshell, in a way that's easy to understand. We basically, for better or worse, have a two-party system. One of those parties is going to win and get power. They have, theoretically, if we accept, forget about the whole uniparty thing, right, and the false dialectic. If we say there's Trump's party, the MAGA type stuff, and then we have the Democrat party, right? They have very different visions. Or at least that's what they're selling. You might say, I don't think they really do, right? Now, in order to win, you're going to have to bring in enough people to support you. But the only way you're going to accomplish that is by bringing people onto your side that believe things that you don't agree with. So what do? At some point, you're forced to make a difficult decision. You can accept some disagreement in your coalition, but at some point the disagreement gets too much. And then you say, I can no longer work with these people. And so there's a constant give and take of how much can you grow the party before the party loses the core value that it's unrecognizable, and so it's not even worth winning. That's the question. And everyone has a different belief on when that is. Maybe you say, yeah, I could have log cabin Republicans that are gay Republicans. That's fine, as long as they're not really pushing that shit. Maybe a bad choice of words. Nonetheless, other people say, no, too much. So it becomes, now, once you realize that about a political party, that's the way it is as an individual. Who are you willing to work with? Could I work for, if a candidate in Pennsylvania runs for governor and says, I'm for, supporting Trump's agenda, I'm for deporting, ending Philadelphia and Pittsburgh as sanctuary cities, making sure they're cooperating with ICE. I'm for, trying to lower the state income tax as low as possible, lowering the state fuel taxes. But the dude's like, but I'm a big proponent of gay marriage. And I'm a big proponent of, attacking Iran and other forms. What do? I'm like, well, I don't like those things necessarily. So do I say, nah, can't do it, can't pull the trigger for you, can't work with you, and then the Democrat wins? It's difficult. It's very difficult to make those decisions. And it's easy to just point the finger and go, how could you? All I can say is I have to do my best to try to constantly evaluate myself and say, am I losing myself? Because I'm working with people that there are differences that I have, and now I'm gradually becoming something I don't like, and try to interrogate myself constantly to not sell out. But at the same time, if I just say, nope, I'll only work with people that I'm completely ideologically consistent with, you know how many people I'm going to be working with? None. Because that person doesn't exist. Which, what the chance of me then having real world political change is? Almost zero. It's just the way it is. Miss Peachy Keen's $5 says, did you watch the Independence Day video Spencer Pratt made? I did. It's amazing. You should watch it. It's 3 minutes or less. I have seen it. It is very good. Spencer Pratt really surprised me. I think he did a great job. Unfortunately, he's in California, but Pix Paradox, $10 says, Whip Nation, not one step back. Thank you, Paradox. Single Dad Club, another 10 says, Rob, you have a show that we rely on. We have a decision to keep going. Deal with it. Well, thank you. I appreciate it, man. And then another 10, incredibly generous, says, yeah, but on Tim Pool, you were really good. Give yourself some credit. I think I did well on Tim Pool as well. Thank you. Look, if I'm completely honest, I think I'm a tremendous political commentator, and I'm a tremendous debater, and I'm a tremendous debate coach. I believe that. But I am a regular person. I don't have big connections to big people. Not yet. I have more connections now. I mean, my name was mentioned on Joe Rogan. But I didn't grow up with money. I didn't grow up with my family or any one of my friends that knew anyone connected politically or like in like entertainment industry or anything. Ghost Rider, $5 says, cheers, Rob Revere. Always a great, Rob Revere. I'm sorry. Why did I put a weird pause there? Cheers, Rob Revere. Always a great show. Thank you. Daniel Graves, what's up, my man? $20 says, so close to 1K, sir. I can hear the Disney song now. Yeah, we made it. That's, thank you, Daniel. Appreciate it. And then look at this, Robert. Again, $100 says, for 1K, let's go. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Pix Paradox says, call Ava Rice. I'm sure he'll make an appearance. And then Catmere, $5 says, good day, Rob. Hope you and the family are well and that the spider farm is out of control with the warmer weather. It is in my walkway in my back door. My wife's starting to get real mad. There was like 6 daddy long legs above the walkway, and she's pissed. We were arguing about it today. I was like, I think they keep the worst bugs out. She's like, I don't give a shit. I want them gone. So I was trying to scoop them up with a paper and take them outside, but I didn't do a very good job. As far as this room, there's a web up here, and I saw Big Daddy Longleg the other day. He was really going to town, was like moving back and forth a lot, but I don't see him now. So I don't know if he's hiding behind the curtain or something. But yeah. And then Single Dad Club, $10 says, you have a chance, take it. Stop fighting yourself, dude. You're gifted. Thank you. I appreciate it. Look, we'll probably cover more of the Tyler Robinson case tomorrow, right? But it is worth saying this, that I have no problem in general with people having a theory or being distrusting of official government narratives. That's fine. But it comes a point where it gets to the absurd. And if you go back and you watch last night's show, you can see that happens very quickly. There is the people that are heavily invested in this, the Baron Colemans, the Candace Owens, their audience, you quite literally could never at this point present any evidence to them to change their mind. Nothing. If a video comes out of Tyler Robinson, like FaceTimed Lance Twiggs, like, here, look, here, I'm going to set my phone up. Here's the shooting, shows the shooting, and then it's like, I just did it. And he's like, as he's running away, that matches up with the camera footage we have, they'd say, it was faked, AI, the feds made that. Tyler Robinson's a patsy. He didn't do it. Even if he did it, he was working with Israel. It would not matter. It just doesn't matter. So, like, here, Garlic Press says, this case is so screwed up, I don't know what to believe. But I do know there's something weird going on. 3 people with the bald guy in his car, 223 round on a rooftop behind him, adds up. Nothing adds up. Okay. So every day there'll be something new. How many times have we seen eyewitness testimony, particularly when it comes to who was in a car, be incorrect? How many times? So one person says, I think I saw a bald guy and 3 people in the car. And there it is. Now, no matter what evidence adds up, no matter what, we could have a admission after admission by Tyler Robinson. He did it. DNA test. We can even if the bullet ends up matching, none of it would matter. What about that one person that says she thinks she saw a bald guy in a car? There you go. And that's it. Now, how many times have there been murders where they've had people call in to tip lines and stuff and say things that ended up just being inaccurate? People made a mistake. Now, could it be that there was? I guess there could be, but I don't know what to do with that information. I just don't. I don't know. The 223 shell. There could be a ton of explanations. First off, it was a bullet that wasn't fired, right? So it wasn't like a casing. That would be more interesting if it was a casing, because it's like, okay, there was a shot fired. Got it. Right? It is a shell that would fit into long rifles that police carry, is my understanding. It is an open carry state. Perhaps it's a shell that had been up there for a long time, that someone was up there partying or drinking and it fell out of their pocket. What would the theory be? Let's try to put on our conspiracy hat. So there was another would-be shooter that posted up that didn't fire a shot but accidentally dropped a shell. It could be. That's certainly possible. But I don't know how that exonerates Tyler Robinson. Maybe Tyler had an accomplice and they just can't find it right now. But does that mean that the Utah police are intentionally covering up an accomplice? I don't see the evidence. And there's a bunch of things, like what happened today was, yesterday, and I saw this, a lot of what I was saying on last night's show was then being talked about today. So, for example, when I was yelling at that Bleezers guy, this is the point I was making. One of the theories is this, that one of the things that doesn't add up is there is a document that says that on the day of September 11th, which is the day after the shooting, Tyler Robinson was read his Miranda rights at 6:30 p.m. But then there's an allegation that around 8 p.m. or so, he made Discord messages that are implicating him. How could he make those messages if he was in police custody? And what I said was, well, there's two things that are interesting about it. One, the thing that says 6 p.m. could be a mistake. They could have time-stamped it wrong. Secondly, perhaps he was in custody but still had his phone on him and was making messages while he was in police custody. But third, if the argument is, and this seems to be the claim, that this is an intentional cover-up, that the police and the feds are all lying. They know that they had him in custody at 6:30, but now they're lying and saying it was 10 o'clock after the Discord messages. Well, if the argument from the defense is that he turned himself in with his mother, father, and family friend, wouldn't the mother, father, and family friend know that he was in custody at 6:30? And not only that, I would heavily suspect they probably had their phones on them, which means that they could get the GPS device on the phones that would be able to prove it. And I said, so if we don't hear them do that in court, if they don't say, Your Honor, these Discord messages couldn't have been his. There's clearly someone that's trying to set up our son because he was in police custody without his phone at 6 o'clock. If we don't hear that testimony, wouldn't that mean that the parents are in on it? They have the evidence to prove? Nope, we could prove that we were there with him at the jail or at the sheriff's office at 6 p.m. Why wouldn't they eventually release that information? And basically I was told I believe Fed slop because I bring that up. Now, people are pointing that out today. They're like, wait a minute. The guy testified today. Let's see if I can find the clip. Then they kept saying, there's no footage of him in that jail. There's none. Well, they released the footage today of him in the jail. Then that became, but there's no footage at the front of the jail, at the entrance. You see how it just keeps changing? Now, I don't know what a jail's policy would be. My guess is any footage in the interrogation rooms, it would be incredibly unusual to delete. But footage of like just people like that you have at your front door, they probably don't view that as significant evidence. If they have the footage of him in the interrogation room at 9:30, they probably didn't need the footage of him sitting on the stoop at 9:15. They're like, well, we know. We have I don't know. But it doesn't matter. Again, nothing will satisfy them. But here is some of the testimony from today that's relevant.
Where was that person at the time?
So when we arrived, we went into the room that we were in. It was one of their office, the cubicles there. On the wall, there was a television monitor where I viewed an individual on that screen that was sitting in one of the soft interview rooms. That room was equipped with audio video recording device, and so I observed him on that screen at that time.
Were you aware, or did you become aware what time that individual arrived at Washington County Sheriff's Office?
I was told he arrived there about 9 p.m. that evening.
And was he with anybody else?
He had been, he'd come there with his parents and a family friend.
Now, we were told he didn't turn himself in, or he was in custody at 6 o'clock. And there was no video footage. Now there's video footage and there's testimony that it was 9 o'clock when he showed up, which would have been after the Discord messages. And so what is the response to this? Well, Candace Owens says, I don't believe the person in the room was Tyler Robinson. I believe now not only is Tyler Robinson set up as a patsy, but they intentionally had dudes that looked like Tyler Robinson wearing maroon shirts all over campus and now in the police station that weren't Tyler Robinson. Now, there's probably a good chance if he says there was audio and video in this room that there's Tyler Robinson talking to police and that recording will eventually be viewed by relevant people. What will the excuse then be? Well, of course, it was him, or they faked it. They had someone who sounded like him. That voice is different. Listen, if we play other voice, we found he was in a play in high school. See how his voice sounds different there? And meanwhile, it's like, but the defense isn't making these claims that you have the conspiracy people making, to which is the easiest prediction in the world, but I'm the only person I heard say this. I'll say it again for the third day in a row. Mark my words, if Tyler Robinson is found guilty, the next step in the conspiracy will be to say that the judge and the defense attorneys are also involved in the conspiracy. That's why they intentionally didn't bring up the exploding microphone. That's why they intentionally didn't bring up that Tyler wasn't the person that was being interrogated. So it just... There is nothing wrong with having a healthy distrust of government agencies. I don't have a problem with that. But if you find yourself with such a strong conclusion that you will reject any piece of evidence that goes against that conclusion, you're probably fucking up. And it becomes disgusting for two reasons to me. One, for a personal reason, because it's one of the greatest things in helping the left right now and stopping the right from actually coming together and see how disgusting and vile the left is. So the left's sitting there like, yep, keep going, Barron. Keep going, Candace. You guys are doing great. And secondly, because they're directly attacking people with no proof, like a grieving widow, which is fucked up. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be allowed to question, was Erica Kirk involved? But these are people, like Candace Owens has a lot of eyeballs on her, and she did have connections to Turning Point, whether you like it or not. And first she was like, oh, Erica's a great woman, blah, 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 and if she asks me to stop, I will. And now she's like, yeah, I don't trust Erica, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, man, that's a fucked up thing to do if you're wrong. That's real fucked up. Maybe, look, the defense has it, we're in the preliminaries. Maybe the defense will have a lot of shit to bring up. Could happen. I'm willing to hear it out. We're not at that phase of the trial yet. But I've personally seen, in the very smallest tangential way, a lot of like the conspiracy, Israel, Turning Point. I've personally seen proof that's the smallest portion of it's bullshit. When I saw people posting like, Andrew went down and Turning Point's feeding talking points that all their people have to say, it was the complete opposite. Me and Andrew's portion of coaching them was like, it doesn't matter what your opinion is. We're asking you, what's your opinion on it? And it came up over and over. How many of you agree with Rob's take on immigration here? How many of you agree with the person that he's debating? Hands are up all over the place. Cool. It doesn't matter what your stance is. We want you to learn how to defend that stance. What's it? See you, ex-phobic. So it's weird to actually see, like, I was there. That's not what happened. Insiders have told us. Okay. Your insiders are full of shit. That's not what happened. But anyways, there's not a lot more to say about it. The other thing of note today was there's a big push for the defense, which I totally and look, whatever you think, you might think Tyler Robinson's guilty. I personally think the evidence looks strongly that he's guilty. But he deserves a competent defense. And so his defense is doing the right thing in trying to prevent the full video of Lance Twiggs being released. And presumably that's because it's going to talk about what Tyler told him, and it's not going to look good. And the judge partially sided with the defense that there will be some redactions. So we're going to hear part of that video tomorrow. But I thought we were all about transparency, the conspiracy portion, so surely they'll be yelling at the defense, right? Why are you trying to keep stuff from the public? Meanwhile, the Kirk family came out and said, we want everything released to the public. And you can understand why. The organization that their son built is being attacked and claimed to be involved with his murder. Their daughter-in-law is being claimed to be involved. So I understand why the Kirk family would be like, you know what? We want all the evidence released public. We're tired of the smears. So we'll see. Again, it's a lengthy process. It really is. And it's frustrating. I just wish that all the evidence was laid out and the defense could make their claims and we had a better idea now. But I understand the legal system takes time. The defense wanted more time. That's why we're starting this process late. That's what the defense wanted. They had the right. But one last thing I'll say is all of this talk, well, why isn't Andrew Colvett and more people from Turning Point USA, why haven't they came out and said stuff? Well, part of it's, if you're one of them, if you're a higher up at Turning Point, and let's just assume for a minute that you truly believe Tyler Robinson killed your friend Charlie Kirk, would you want to say anything that could possibly jeopardize? Look what happened today. Ben Shapiro comes out and he puts out like a pretty benign video. Yeah, Charlie's security called me like on the way to the hospital, was like, oh my God, this is horrible. They killed Charlie. Now it turns out Jeremy Boring, who used to head the Daily Wire, said a lot of these security people are from the same security company that do Candace Owens security, that do the Daily Wire, that do Charlie Kirk. And so one called. Now, you can understand that, why someone would call real quick and, oh my God, this is horrible. Please stay safe. Okay? And Candace turned that into, aha! See? Oh, they called you first. They weren't trying to save his life. They called you so you could tell Netanyahu and that. So I can understand just being like, we're not going to say shit. Because all these people that are trying to sow doubt are going to try to twist our words over and over and over again. And if that ends up helping Tyler Robinson not go to prison over this, that would be fucking horrible. So we're just not going to say much. Yeah, there's nothing anyone could say. Some people, I think, that think there's something fishy might say, okay, yeah, seems that this guy was at least guilty. But there's a large portion of them that it will never change. They're so invested at this point that they got to keep running with it. They'll never be able to admit, oh, okay, well, that sufficiently answers that question. They're just going to keep running with it. Charlie wasn't there. Or I'm sorry, Tyler wasn't there. If they prove that Tyler was there, yeah, he was there, but it doesn't prove that that was the gun used. If they prove it was a gun used, yeah, it was the gun used, but it doesn't prove that Tyler did it. Like, it'll never end. They'll just keep moving the goalposts. So, a couple more super chats. Intel Wild, $50. I think we read that one, but that's okay. Thank you. Says, let's get to 1K. We did it. Single Dads Club, $10 says, when was Fed slop a word? I never heard it till 2 days ago. Is it another word salad? I don't know. I think that you saw a lot of the people that are really pushing, not trusting the official story. It's sort of funny because most of it's not from the Fed. Like, this isn't a federal indictment. It's a state indictment. So this is the state of Utah and their law enforcement. But yeah, these people, it's right-wingers saying it because right-wingers like Candace Owens are playing on the fact that a lot of right-wingers have distrust of these institutions. And so they're like, why you believe in the Fed slop now. But as I proved with that guy last night, it's like, but there's Fed slop they'll believe. They'll believe the Fed slop that Antifa got charged for 100 years for shooting a cop in the neck in Dallas. Isn't that Fed slop as well? No, we choose to believe that. Right. Chop, chop. 8 months a member, thank you. And then Single Dads Club, another 10, says, where does Fed slop come from? I never heard of this. We really need to analyze words and how they're introduced and how they make a difference. Well, it's the way of trying to shut down any disagreement with them. You must be paid by the feds, or you're on the Fed, you're brainwashed by the feds or by Netanyahu. So your opinion could be discarded. Now, old Joe didn't find someone to argue with tonight. So, now, I hope, that we get more answers. I think Friday is going to be the last day of this preliminary hearing, but it's not going to assuage anyone, not even me. Because look, the defense still, they're keeping their cards close to their vest. They're going to have an opportunity to dispute a lot of this stuff. So we'll see. And they should have that right. That's not the phase we're at yet. And I understand it can be frustrating. I'm frustrated. So it'll be interesting to see more of what comes out this week. And I'm not just trying to hyper-focus on this story. We talked about other stuff for the vast majority of the show tonight. But it's something that matters in my goal. My goal is to win the midterms, to crush the left. And when I see people that are pushing narratives, even if the narrative's true, even if Erica Kirk and Turning Point and Netanyahu killed Charlie Kirk, that's still helping the left. It's worth that coming out if it's true. Don't get me wrong, it is. But there's no proof of it. You try to hear people out. And what they're saying is helping the left. And for me, just like people out there saying vote Democrat is helping the left, I'm going to push back against that. I'm not going to solely focus on it, but I am going to push back on it. And when people want to become assholes and, well, you got paid by Turning Point, oh, it's Fed slop, blah, 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 I'm going to tell them to fuck right off. That's my feelings on it. So, all right, I owe some songs here tonight. Now, let me say before everyone leaves that's going to wisely leave, which you should leave because these songs are terrible. Let me say this. I should be doing the extravaganza tomorrow at 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. That's Eastern. That'll be the last extravaganza for the week. I think I have a no prep debate tomorrow night. If you haven't seen me do the no prep debates, that's where Speakeasy is a moderator, and he has found an opponent who I don't know, who has a topic that I don't know, that's been prepping to debate me for about a month, and we'll start the show live, and then that opponent, who I don't know, will come up with that topic I don't know and give an opening statement, and then I'll debate them. And that usually lasts 2 to 3 hours, so it should be fun. I always enjoy that. If it was up to me, I would debate every night. I very much enjoy debating. So, it's Nor Prep. I know that's what Speak calls it. But, so that's supposed to be tomorrow. I think it'll be 9 p.m., I believe, that debate. So,
well, I'm about ready to debate you about not putting up about robnoerr shop enough and how we have to do it at least 3 times a night.
Please do it when I feel like. But yeah, if you want hats, Normal America hat, t-shirt, or hoodies, there's going to be, you can see some of them. We're going to have new coming out, new colors and new designs coming out, hopefully in a couple months. You can go over to robnoerr.shop. You can also find my latest YouTube videos and other things out. So that's robnoerr.shop. What's the extravaganza? The extravaganza is, it is now officially Andrew Wilson and my show on Rumble, so you can find it exclusively on the Crucible's Rumble channel. And so we're allowed to use more swear words and slurs over there. But it's an hour-long show that we cover politics and culture, try to put a humorous spin on it. And that's every day on the Crucible's Rumble channel, exclusively from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. So I'm the co-host of that show and will be on there most days. So again, if you just go to Rumble and you type in The Crucible, you'll find their channel. Intel Wop, $5 says we love Rob. Thank you, Intel Wop. It's always a pleasure to see you, man. Orion Nate, thanks for being a member. 7 months says yo to you. Thank you. And Toke YT, $2 is owns equals clown. Shapiro nailed it today. Yeah. All right. So we officially enter this grifting portion of the show. Now here's how it works. Any singular $100 donation plays a whip song. We have a wheel of songs. What is the whip song? There's this old Rankin Bass Lord of the Rings cartoon where there's the orcs are being marched to war and they're singing this song, where there's a whip, there's a way. And it's like sort of they're explaining that they're dark lords making them go to war. And so I played the song on here and was like, yeah, like I'm the dark lord making you guys send me money. And then it got twisted into a bunch of different versions of the same lyrics. And now it's put on this wheel, all these versions. And for $100 donation, we spin the wheel and there you see. And then we play whatever song comes up. So that's the concept. For $150, you could pick a specific song. And for $200, we could create a new version of the song. The only other rule is that's just singular donation. So if you donate $90, that's nothing. However, there is a collective option. So anytime we get over $100 mark here now, so $1,200 would be the next, that's also whip song. So if someone donates, $66? Am I right about that? Yeah. That would be one whip song. If someone donates $100, it would be two. One for the $100 donation and one for passing $1,200. Also, if we get past 1,000, I have to play the Disney version. So how many do I owe tonight? Because you all have been incredibly generous. I owe, as of right now, 2, 3, 5, 6. Look at that. Robert Sidorchuk killing it today. So I owe 6 plus 1 Disney. All right. So we'll start with the stupid Disney one. My friend Avarice comes up and makes an ass of himself when this one plays. For all of you leaving, I totally get it. This part of the show sucks. I'll see you tomorrow. For the rest of you psychopaths, enjoy my misery. Here we go. If I could find that stupid song.
Like this. You thought I was going away, didn't you? Arms out, Rob. Dance with me. Rob, you're so happy. Look at this. Look how happy you are. Oh, no. Dance, Rob. Bro, did you notice the sweatshirt we brought for the Disney song? Did you notice the sweatshirt? Some spirit fingers. That's right.
I saw that posted today on my Discord. That about sums it up. That's from last night, I believe. Yeah, that's about it every night. But what can you do? Toke! $2 says I'll look up Milwaukee lawn tools as my ears bleed. There you go. At least you're accomplishing something. And oh, good lord. All right, 6. I was 6. I'm trying to get everything set up here. All right. Let's hope we don't hear that one again. Where did we go? Here we go. Yay. Yeah. Russian folk. Okay.
There's a way, there's a way. Where there's a way, there's a way. We don't wanna go to war today, but the Lord of the Lash says nay, nay, nay. We're gonna march all day. All day, all day. Yeah, great. There's a whip, there's a way. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Left, right, left, right, left. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Of the Dark Lord's war.
Hey, yay. 5 more. Isn't this fun? I don't know. It seems to be thematic there, right? Russian, then Gregorian.
We don't wanna go to war today, but the Lord of the Lash says nay, nay, nay. We're gonna march all day, all day, all day. There's a way, there's a way.
horrible. Next. 4 more. Goodness gracious. A slow sax version? No, I don't have that one. What do we got? Oh. We're just getting a slew of ethnic ones here, huh? Polka. Three minutes. Yay!
Where there's a whip, there's a whip. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Where there's a whip, there's a way. We don't want to go to war today, but the Lord of the Land says nay, nay, nay. We're gonna march all day, all day, all day. Where there's a whip, there's a way. 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 Left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Left, right. A crack on the back says we're gonna fight, we're gonna march all day and night and more, for we are the slaves of the Dark Lord's war. Where there's a whip, there's a way. 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 Left there's a whip, there's a way. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Left, right. A crack on the back says we're gonna fight, we're gonna march all day and night and more. We are the slaves of the Dark Lord's war. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Where there's a way.
It's fucking horrible. 2 more. Sometimes I feel like I'm in limbo. It's not quite hell. It's like right before Dante. Okay. I was saying, I hope we get some crumping kazoos tonight. Here we go.
There's a whip. There's a whip. Well, there's a whip. There's a way. There's a way. We don't want to go to war today, but the Lord of the Land said, nay, nay, nay. We're gonna march all day, all day, all day, all day, all day. There's a whip.
Oh my goodness. Have we made it to the end? Mercifully. Well, aside from the whip song stuff, I very much enjoyed the show tonight. There's part of me that just likes yelling at people, so last night's show was fun. But tonight's show, I had a lot of fun. How was that crumping? I don't know, man. I haven't looked up the definition of crumping in some time. How was it kazoos? I don't know. Oh, the Sneeko stuff was funny. I was going to talk about it, but I don't know how much of the Alex Jones just attacking him I could play with terms of service on YouTube. But look it up, man. It is hilarious. Maybe we'll talk about it on the extravaganza tomorrow. Rumble won't mind. That was it. That was 6 whip songs. Oh, no. That was it. No, I am off. I am off 1. You are absolutely right. I screwed it up. What I did there, I tried to cheat. That's not fair. I do and the math. I'm in a state of delusion. Great. Thank you so much. J.G. Jennings, $5. I was going to say there's a bit of Stockholm in the whip segment of the show. They start to grow on you. It doesn't grow on me. This one doesn't even count.
There's a way. Where there's a whip, there's a way. We don't want to go to war today, but the Lord of the Lash says, nay, nay, nay. We're going to march all day. All day, all day. Where there's a whip, there's a way. 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 Left, right, left, right, left. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Left, right. A crack on the back says, we're going to fight. We're going to march all day and night and more. For we are the slaves of the Dark Lord's war.
Boo! Now this one's going to be like 4 minutes. Iron Beaver. This was supposed to be like Iron Maiden mixed with Justin Bieber.
I honestly don't even remember when this one was made. When was this one made?
It was after the Whip Extravaganza.
Really?
Yeah, I remember.
Oh, I'm excited. I haven't heard this one. I don't
This
think
was
I have.
one. This was one that was requested from Rumble people. So here we go. Hey, now we're talking. Darth Salvation, $5 says, Rob, I know you hate them, but be honest, which one is my favorite? And play that one next. You have heard. Oh, what a reward for me to play one whip song. I don't know. The American folk one's not bad, I guess. It sucks, but then there's the was it the Calypso one's okay? The trippy ones are both okay. That would be my. I don't know. They all suck. And I'm not playing an extra one just for funsies. Now, if you guys want another song, it's $54 over on YouTube. Yacht Rock's okay, but it's 4 minutes. It's cool for like 5 seconds. Yeah. I did earn it. I earned it. Thanks, guys. You guys are the best. Who's emailing me this late at night? I get the weirdest emails late at night. Hey, would you like to work with our company? Nah, probably not. Probably not. Oh, Wolf Jazz is great, yeah. Like, I don't know. Let me just take a song that I like. I like Dire Straits, Sultans of Swing. But if I had to listen to it 50 times a night, I would quickly not like Dire Straits, Sultan of Swing. That's sort of where I'm at with all the whip songs. The weird Japanese one. Mongolian Throat. Yeah, there's one of those. But I can't, to be a good grifter, I can't give stuff away for free. Can't do it. Play one more because I tried to cheat. You guys are brutal. One more. That's it. I think this is shit. This is it. No freebies after this. And only because I did screw up. Oh, no. Okay. I could have been pissed. Now, see, now we're in a weird spot. This is one of the random ones that's not a minute long, I think.
Where there's a way, there's a way. Where there's a way, there's a way. Hey, hey. We don't want to go to war today, but the Lord of the Lash says, nay, nay, nay. We're gonna march all day, all day, all day. Where there's a way, there's a way. Where there's a way, there's a way. Where there's a winter day, there's a way. Where there's a hill, there's a way. There's a way. Left, right, there's a way. A clap on the back, say we're gonna fight. We're gonna march all day and night and more. For we are the slaves of the dark Lord's war.
Darth Salvation says, read my super chat. I did. I talked all about it. I not only read your super chat, I then listed, I was like, Trippy 1 and 2. Yacht Rock's okay, but it's too long. I like the American folk one. You must have stepped out for a minute. What are you doing, sir? You got to pay attention the whole time. Captain Planet, $20. Thank you so much. All right. One more stupid one. One more. That's what happens when I give something away for free. I get screwed over. All right. If this one's not a minute, I don't give a shit. We just... Oh, it is. 3 minutes?
Where there's a whip, there's a way. Where there's a whip, there's a way. We don't wanna go to war today, but the Lord of the Lash says, nay, nay, nay. We're gonna march all day, all day, all day. Where there's a whip, left, right, 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 left, run day. Where there's a left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, there's a left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, where there's a left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, run away.
All right. We got Pix Paradox, $10. Thank you so much. Then we got Barbarith Nazarite, $20 says whip it good. Thank you. Pix Paradox, another $5. Big Daddy Pod, $5 says I'm using your stream to test some stuff in OBS and restreaming stuff. Whip it real good. Sure, man. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, sir. And then Barbarith Nazarite, $5 says, what the heck? Yeah, that's how I feel. All right, that's another one. That's what I get for giving out a free one. All right. Now, I'll play this one, but I swear to you, I will get an email at like 4 a.m. that'll say, copyright some random song that's not, it just sounds like a 1950s song. It's so weird. I fought it and I lost, and it's quite clearly not the song they're talking about, but.
He's not kidding you, everybody. He gets it every time.
We're gonna march all day and night and more, for we are the slaves of the dark Lord's war. Where there's a whip, there's a way.
We did it! Blue suede shoes. I don't know how Elvis' song wasn't more popular. Will to push forward. Thanks for the $1. Says, I want to ask you, are you able to play music that is not through the picker wheel? I'm just hoping there's a wide variety. I hope there's a way to avoid copyright. No, I don't. So technically, could I play some Metallica? Yeah, but then it would immediately be copyright struck. Well, not a strike. It would just that any monetization from the video. And I try to not do that because it's not that I really care, but it's that it probably negatively affects you in the algorithm. So now, and then what happens is then the stream just becomes random people being like, hey, play this song from the Beach Boys. And it's like, I don't know. This is kind of its own gag, I guess. It's all right, Darth Salvation. No problem, man. You're probably a little behind. Yeah. I know how it goes. It's been a great night. I'm very blessed. I can't thank you all enough. I really can't. I'm just very lucky. Lucky to have Caleb. Jews. Now I'm good. Now I'm speaking the truth. So anyways, start to wind down here. It's been a great night. If there was a theme from tonight's show, it's like, look at how disgusting these Democrats are. The Graham Platner stuff, they don't care about democracy, all the woke shit that's infecting our entertainment industry, and then how much the, terrible people that are blaming Turning Point and Erica Kirk and stuff with pretty much no evidence, the damage it's doing. We need to have a united front going after these vile leftist ideas. We really do. And I hope that comes across, that's what I'm pushing for. But I want to thank my friend Avarice, thank my editor Black Elk. I want to thank all of my tremendous moderators, everyone, that donated, especially tonight. The MVP of the night, no doubt, our good friend Robert Sidorchuk, $500. Thank you so much, man. Incredibly generous, but all of you are very generous. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. I really do. I'll be back tomorrow for the extravaganza, 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. on the Crucibles Rumble channel. So check it out there. And then around, I think, 9 p.m. tomorrow, we'll be doing a no prep debate over here. So it should be fun. I want you to just take one more moment. I know we already played the video. Regardless of what you think of exactly what's going on in this trial, maybe you're tired of it. Never forget what the stakes are. So many people on the left mocked and ridiculed Charlie Kirk and cheered as he was assassinated. So many other left-wing institutions made excuses for it, called him a bigot, a racist, a fascist. Never forget what the stakes are. They'll kill you. They'll mock your family. They'll blame them. And hell, even people on the right will join them in on it. So never forget that. Take a moment and say a prayer for Charlie and for his family, his wife, and his children. And never forget what those stakes are. So we are going to raid over to Speakeasy tonight. I think they're doing an open panel over there. And I will see you all tomorrow. So thanks so much, everyone. We'll talk to you all tomorrow. As always, have a good one.
Only in America is it possible to say, you know what, I don't like the way the country is going, and to do something about it. Take that risk. Take that leap of faith. Stay involved. Trust God and act obediently. Romans 12:2 verse. That God will use all things for good for those who love him. It's bigger than you. I want you to remember that. It is bigger than you. It's bigger than me. You are here to make somebody else's life better, the pursuit of liberty and freedom. You know what gives me strength? The hundreds of thousands of you that say, Charlie, keep going.
1 Corinthians 5 and 15. So that's all pretty amazing evidence, not just intra-biblical evidence, but extra-biblical evidence that Jesus Christ was a real person. He lived a perfect life. He was crucified, died, and rose on the third day, and he is Lord and God of